morning, people kind. Welcome back to Fresh Slick and Mick. This is episode 44 of Windsor, Ontario's finest modern millennial bro down, where the devil's in the details and there's levels to this retail. So hit us in the email, freshslickandmick@gmail.com. I am your host, Fresh Money, Fresh Murder, fresh off the plane from Costa Rica with COVID. Sitting here with my brother, Slick, feeling sick. And Pope Mickey, don't hit me with that Pope Dicky. It's too biggie. Oh, shit. And welcome back to our brother, Chuckie. Pew, 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 pew. Dad, how you doing, baby?
Not too bad. I prefer to be called Daddy.
Daddy? Okay. Do I have to do that?
Only if you want.
Okay. All right. And we also, this is the first episode with our own personal sound engineer sitting in. VIP, how you doing, baby?
I'm doing good.
Good. Glad you're here, finally. All right, so this episode we're talking about this retail game, okay? Now, many of us in this room, everybody except Slick, right, have worked retail in one form or another. And I was just thinking about it, and I was like, man, so many stories. It's like the tale of the underworld of jobs. It's just such a shit. I mean, not to shit on coal miners or anything, but like it's just such a shitty way to earn a living because you get no respect, you know? But so many jobs are service jobs. Right? And I mean, just the amount that we've all done it, and now we all work very different paths. Mickey, you still work retail.
Pretty well, and then when I'm done and actually do my big boy job, it's pretty much the same thing.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, I'll be dealing with people and their bullshit.
Okay, all right. Well,
that's every profession. That's not going away.
Yeah, that ain't going
that's
away.
everything.
Chuckie, what are you doing these days? Give us a little update. We haven't had you on for a couple of years, man.
Has it been that long?
Bruh, 2018.
Oh my God! You're right.
It's 2020.
So I was recruiting the last time I was here, and I actually wound up leaving that company because I got a really good offer with one of the big banks.
Okay.
So I went over into retail banking. So
No.
That's
No.
that is what it's
You
called.
went back.
I went back. Yeah, and it's funny because like the common denominator is retail.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I thought that, and like, don't get me wrong, I had a great time working in retail, made a lot of great friends sitting around this table, actually.
Yeah,
But kind of like you were saying, it's a very, it's a thankless job. And I thought that the worst people could be was at Christmas when people are coming in, spending money that they don't have on shit that they don't need for people that they barely fucking care about.
Right.
And when I wound up going over to going over into banking, it was all of that all of the time. But now it's you're fucking with people's money, and the value of money is very intrinsic. So $40 to you might not necessarily mean the same to $40 to someone else. So people on a daily basis coming in being like, oh, you guys hit me with this NSF fee. Why'd you do that? And it's like, well, you didn't have enough money in your account when your pre-authorized bill came out. And it's just like, well, it's all the bank's fault. And you're constantly hammered with that nonstop.
All right, so pause. Tell me, explain this to me because I have never understood this about banking in general. What is the fucking point of an NSF fee? I didn't have the money. Why are you charging
Taking
me
more
money?
money? Yeah. I'm honestly not 100% sure as to like how that covers their costs or what costs are incurred by the bank when you default on a payment. I don't know about that.
Right.
All I literally know is like how to kind of take that shitty moment and somehow spin it into a positive customer experience and send them out the door. So
Emphasis on the out the door.
Out the door and away from me.
So you feel you're pretty good at that?
Oh yeah.
Man, I saw you work some miracles back in the day. Back in the day at the bad place.
Which one?
Well, yeah, fair enough. Because I used to visit you when you worked clothing retail, shall we say, which was different from where you and I worked retail. And oh man, you would just talk people down. More than once you played the gay card. Let's not lie. I know you played the gay card.
I never played the gay card.
Bullshit. I saw you go, oh honey, that is not the one. Don't even lie to me.
So I don't remember, so I can neither confirm nor deny, but we'll just leave it there.
That's the alcoholic excuse.
That's got me out of a problem a time or two.
Don't have the wherewithal to defend myself. That's usually my go-to.
But just kind of give you the update. So I actually went over to banking, and then I did that for about a year and a half, and I've gone back over into recruiting. I've kind of come to terms with the fact that I really like helping people.
Ooh.
And I'm the type of person where I'm an active service kind of guy. That's how I show affection to people, is by doing small things for them.
Yes.
I really like being a positive influence on others. So if I can make their day better, I just love to be of service to people. And one of the things that I found when I went over into recruiting is it doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes it's very thankless. Sometimes you get shit on, whether it be by clients or candidates or however it may be. But every now and then you're able to really positively impact someone. And I can think of a few scenarios off the top of my head where, someone got served their pink slip on Friday. Mm-hmm. One guy in particular, and it's when times get really tough because it's a roller coaster. You're dealing with people. You can't predict them.
Right.
One of the things that really stands with me is that this one guy, I called him about a position on what date was it? I called him on Friday, and he was perfect for the role. And he's like, "No, I'm making the same money now. I'm good." I'm like, "Well, if you know of anyone, let's keep the doors of communication open. Love to chat with you sometime." Blah 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 blah. He called me first thing Monday morning.
Yeah.
He went into work, and the company he worked for decided to close their Windsor office. Their Canadian office.
Right.
And he was out of a job. And he's like, Chris, is the job still available? That weekend, he literally, on Friday, he basically left work, started packing. They moved into their brand new house on Saturday. He had a baby on the way, all this other stuff. And he was in limbo. He had no idea where the next paycheck was going to come from. And I was able to kind of, and literally within half hour, he went from not knowing where the next paycheck was going to being lined up for an interview, and by the time he walked out of that interview, I already had an email in my inbox basically saying that they wanted to basically just buy him out direct, and they loved him that much. So
nice, that's
yeah.
awesome, man.
And
Good for you.
And just to kind of push that a little bit further, because I got him in with that company.
Yeah.
His wife, who's also a designer, she wound up losing her job at another company, and we were actually able to reach out to that client and be like, hey, his wife does something very similar, and she actually wound up getting hired by that company. They just we paired them up with a great company that protects their own, and
nice. So not the same as selling pants.
Not the same as selling pants, no. But you know what? I'm selling people in a different way, not in a slave way, but it's
Jesus
Christ! just want to clarify that. But no, there's still a very salesy aspect to it, because you're selling candidates on positions for companies when they might not even actively be looking, and those are the people I want to talk to, because most people that are good at what they do, they're not actively on the market for the most part.
Fair
so
enough.
I'm constantly selling people on positions, and I'm constantly selling clients on those candidates and as to why they would be a good fit for their company.
Word.
Yeah.
So just break that down just a little bit. So when you say recruiting, you're essentially
I'm headhunting.
You're headhunting
Yeah.
people for jobs, for positions, so staffing agency type thing?
Correct, yeah.
Right, okay.
So I've done temp to perm, where it's you start on contract, and then you after 6 months or however long the contract is, you wind up moving over into a full-time role.
Yeah.
Where I'm at now, I do direct placements. So hey, you need an engineer? Great, here's an engineer that's qualified for it. Cool dude, you like him? Great, awesome. Well, this works.
Okay. That's awesome, and I'm very glad you found that measure of fulfillment.
Thank you.
I don't want to hear any more about any of that. I want to
Perfect.
hear the
All
worst
about retail.
fucking shit.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I can think of so many the way that I framed it back in the day was it's an industry of disrespect, because your subordinates, I was a middle manager for the bulk of my time in retail. Your subordinates don't really listen to you. I mean, present company excluded, because
I never fucking listened to you.
I
Still do.
Because for clarification, both of you two were my underlings at one point. But they don't really listen to you, and they don't really have to, because it's a minimum wage job that they come to after school. Why the fuck would you?
Yeah.
Why would you give a shit? I never. It was frustrating, but I understood. You just walk out and go next door, wherever that might be. It doesn't matter. And then you have superiors who are demanding lots and lots from you. You have corporate offices who see nothing but numbers, and you're a cog as far as that goes. And then, as much as I hate to say it, worst of all, I know this is going to break your heart, Mickey, but are the customers. And they're just awful. Just fucking awful.
Where we were, there was no consoling them. They came in with a chip on their shoulder, ready to fucking jump down your throat. It's a bit different. So now where I am now with nutrition, people actually want my help. they are in need of help. They want some sort of answer. But where we were before, it was just more so, what do you mean you don't have it? Oh, I saw it on your website. I didn't see this much money. Why does this cost so much? These are supposed to be ready earlier. It's like there's no pleasing these fucks.
Yeah, it was a. How can we describe this particular location? It was something of a town or a village that was supposed to help people be festive.
Mine just
to
mine
celebrate.
Drop the name.
It's fucking Party City. It was
Party
the worst
fucking city.
shit ever.
Okay.
I have slagged this company on every possible platform with my legal name, so I don't give a shit. Like Glassdoor, everything. Like, come after me. You're trash. I don't care.
Fair enough.
Well, if it's true, it's not defamation.
It's not defamation, man.
So
They hired after I left. After demanding a livable increase, which, by the way, the next year minimum wage went up over what I even asked for. Yeah.
Could have got you to steal.
They hired a guy and gave him like $10 more an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
I forgot about
to
that.
fill that position, because I still had friends that worked there. And the bullshit just keeps going from here,
Absolutely.
right? So, yeah. So, I mean, fuck these guys, you know? And it was because I was, like, a young dude, and they just never gave me my due. But I was, like, running that place. You can attest to this, Chuckie. I was fucking running that place. So...
Oh, man. Me, you, and Boo Boo. That one Halloween.
Well, that was back in the day.
That was also probably the smoothest running Halloween we had.
Oh, my God,
Wait.
man. It was... Because... What were we going to say?
was that the one where
think you were
you were fucking running the whole show?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
actually gave me manager, because our manager went to run a temp store.
Oh, did-
Halloween's a big
that-
thing at Party City.
She ran a store at West.
Yeah, that's when I started.
Yeah, that's when
That
you
was-
started. That's when we
yeah.
hired you. That's when
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not technically when I first met you, but when I first got to know you.
Yes.
Yeah. I technically met you drunk playing guitar around a campfire alone. Yeah. Good old Mickey. Good old Mickey.
I was
How
told there was going to be drinking. I was the only one who was drinking that night.
That's awesome.
Everyone else was stoned, and I'm just, happy and having fun. And
You're 3/4 of a bottle of Grant's Deep.
exactly, and everyone's just stoned and chilling next to a fire. So, of course, I was like a fucking idiot.
I wasn't
Grant's is
anything. I
actually-
just walked over from the next block. I was like, hey, guys, what's going on?
I hear something. Oh, it's an idiot who's drunk.
Oh.
That's what I was hearing.
Grant's, by the way, is like one of Mickey's favorite whiskeys, or was. And it was a blended Scotch.
Yeah.
And that was the first Scotch I think I ever got introduced to.
What?
It was with him.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
when I turned 19.
Oh, I just assumed you, had scotch as a baby, dude.
Probably, yeah.
Like in your bottle.
Probably not far off the mark, but no, the first time I actually remember drinking a whiskey or a Scotch rather and enjoying it. It was actually with Mickey, and then we wound up going over to well, it's closed now, so I'll say it. But we wound up going over to the poorhouse, and I had friends that worked there,
R.I.P.
Yeah.
and we went in there one day and we drank a bottle of Highland Park.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like they opened this bottle and we drank it. And
disgusting.
our bill came, and I think our bill for this bottle was like $40.
Oh
that
my
bottle on the shelf, well, at
Yeah.
LCB was like what,
Yeah.
90, $100?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
it was a 12. So
Yeah.
about that. And that was actually the night that the Pope was born.
Oh,
Oh,
my
that's
God,
the
that
night
was
of
the
the Pope
same
hat.
night.
It was the same
Yeah.
fucking night.
All
And
right.
this guy
Full circle.
with his fucking Pope hat.
Who would have thought that would stick?
Right?
I don't even remember how you became Chucky. Some bullshit.
It's because of my laugh.
Okay, well, oh yeah,
The high
Chuckles,
pitched
right.
laugh, chuckles. Yeah,
right,
Chucky
right.
chuckles.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Okay. But anyway, yeah. So we were working together, running the store that Halloween, and it was just easy. They gave me a lot more money for that month and a half and everything. But then they just kicked me right back down. The boss came back.
Yep,
and-
and then you continued to do exactly everything you were
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
because she lived on a diet of Tim Hortons coffee, a pack of smokes, and a fish fillet.
I remember that.
And she would
when we
come
used
in
to
and she would
always
sit in
do
her
fucking Kanye and Jay-Z every time she came in for lunch? What's she order?
Fish fillet. I'll never forget the day. I'll never forget the. Oh my God, Wheels and the Fat Man. so we're. I don't remember. We're like putting away overstock and stuff like this, and there's no one in the store. We happen to. Fresh and I opened the store that day. We walked to the front, and this is exactly as our manager and assistant manager were just coming in for the afternoon shift to close and stuff. So they
Yeah.
roll up around 1:00. The one person's her car was in the shop or whatever, so they carpooled, and it was hilarious because the song what was it? The song "Evil Woman" comes on as she's walking in. Evil woman.
Accurate.
So she's rolling out, and we're standing at the front, just watching them roll up, and this car with 4 inflated tires. One of them looked like it was on a donut.
Yeah.
So from there, they stepped out.
Half the car was like low rider.
Oh,
The other half was Evil Woman.
Yeah.
And that's how Wheels and the Fat Man was born.
They look like the number 10 walking in.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wheels. By the way, Wheels and the Fat Man sounds like a NYPD Blue spin-off or something.
Bro, I thought of that on the plane from Costa Rica, and I just started fucking howling. And Avery's like, "What are you laughing at?" And I'm like, "It's such a long and pretty mean story, but like, it's fucking, I don't know, just don't worry about it."
Tune in for the next episode of Freshly Commit to find out.
No. I mean, yeah, do that. Do that.
Definitely tune in.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
we'll tell you. Yeah. That was some good times there.
But what I found the worst about that was like just how flippantly rude everyone is to you. So when I actually started there, the manager there, who was not the one we're talking about, she told me about essentially, she's like, "You're working in this town," because before that I worked in Essex, right, which was the same but a little different, small town vibe, what have you. She's like, "You're going to find very quickly that auto workers in this town are the worst people in the world." And I didn't really think anything of it because I didn't know a lot of auto workers. I had like a buddy's dad, and he was a solid enough dude, right? And then I found out what she meant. And it's like they literally think they run the town. They literally think they are the lifeblood of this town and not replaceable by some 17-year-old stoned out of his mind. Like you...
Or a robot.
Or a fucking robot, more likely.
Where we're going.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So they would come in and just make these fucking demands. And I mean, like Mickey was saying, the demanding the sky. And it's like, "Sorry, bro, I can't make us have this thing that we don't have. And you just, like, there's nothing I can do. Well, then I want 50% off my order. Why? What?
Where does that come in?
At what point do you deserve this? You know?
Also, just because it's going to come up eventually, I want to get it out of the fucking way. Oh, it's not scanning. It must be free.
Oh,
please,
the worst joke in history.
Of God, stop. It's not funny. It was never funny.
No, you know what?
Stop.
Pissed me off, and especially there was. So if you have ever been in this store, they have a loot aisle where it's like loose, fucking shit toys that you can buy and make these loot bags to give away at your kids' birthday parties.
It's like plastic molded. 0.3 cents value.
You could not keep this fucking aisle and a half clean and organized to save your life. You'd go through, you'd clean everything. 45 seconds later, you'd think Hurricane Katrina just passed through, and constantly, I would say, probably at least once or twice a day there, I'd have someone come up and be like, "What is that? That wrong scan act that some companies had signed where." I'll make it up.
Oh, yeah,
what was it
That, oh, fuck, I don't remember what it's called, but participating members of the Better Business Bureau had a policy whereby something that scanned as the wrong price from what was marked...
They'd have to honor the cheaper or the price that was marked.
Right, but first of all, it was completely voluntary. Even people who were members of the Better Business Bureau, which we were not...
Yep.
Because that would be impossible. It was worser business. But they would come up and they would be like, "This is the law. This is you have to do this legally." And I'm like, "No, man.
They call the cops.
They literally pay me to know this. I don't have to do anything for you." And we'd give them like a pittance of a discount just for like, sorry for the error. But no,
and even then, no satisfaction.
Oh, none.
It's
though there was one time I got a lot of satisfaction from it when Party City bought Party Packagers to be the Switch.
Right.
It was almost immediately. The first flyer came out was all in American dollar, so it was like ridiculously inexpensive on the Canadian dollar. And I remember someone coming in for some Super Bowl shit, and they got probably $300 worth of shit for like $100 or like $50.
Because of that flyer.
because of the flyer. And
Well, that's a little different. It's like
It
their
is-
advertised flyer.
it is, and I was just because like we're scanning it, and it's not coming in as the price on there, but we had to do the whole thing, and it felt so good to watch that happen. I'm like, fuck you
I want to just bring
You're
up.
saying fuck you to the company.
to the company, you know,
Yeah,
100%. Like these people were just a couple of rednecks, and whatever they probably would have shit in the store if we didn't give them what they wanted. So
The bane of my existence there were those fucking Jello shot cups.
yeah,
So they had these Jello shot cups that
We all know. We've
Yep.
all seen Jello shot cups.
yeah, but you would buy the cups in one sleeve, and then
Yeah.
you'd buy the lids in a separate sleeve,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was
And
made by
just
the
like-
same company, the exact same brand, but they would serve you. I'll make it up, 100 Jello shot cups. You're only getting 50 fucking lids.
It's like
Yeah.
hot
And-
dog and buns. It was
and-
wrong numbers.
Yeah, I'll make it up. They would order like 2 cases of each, and you've got like if you got 100 sleeves of each fucking thing, but you don't have enough to actually assemble everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount, and we would run out of these things weekly, or at least bi-weekly.
Yeah.
And it was a constant fight. And I always every now and then.
Dude, this is dredging up. I forgot about that. There's dark shit back there.
For 3 years, we tried to put together like cases and be like, "Hey, like, can you just send us more?" And like, "Oh, no. And it was like, "What the fuck?" Like, anyway, I'll never forget your blog post. Can we
Oh.
mention the name of your blog on here?
Yeah, I don't.
Lefts, Rights, and Wrongs. When you talk about,
lefts, rights, and wrongs.blogspot.com. That's what's up.
man, you're fucking. You have that.
I don't think I've written on there for years.
Oh my
but-
god, you need to get back to doing that because you have this one article and you talk about you rant about these fucking Jello shot containers.
I?
You did, and then you're like people coming in and like, well, what do you mean you don't have any Jello shot containers? And you're basically just like, why don't you just fucking do everything in a cookie sheet and just be like, hey, why don't you just fucking cut me up a piece of that Jello slab you got over there? Like, be fucking innovative. Anyway, so
Yeah,
weird tangent, but
I think that was the worst part about. Well, no, the worst part about working there was I was afraid to leave because I thought that like this is I thought I was unqualified, right? And so I was like, oh, I can't leave because I'm not gonna make any more money. I'm not gonna make 50 cents more than minimum wage. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so untalented or whatever. I could have gone anywhere, any fucking where,
Yeah.
of course. But nearly as bad as that was people would act because of the nature of the store like you had just ruined their fucking day or their wedding shower or their child's birthday or whatever. And it's like, if this all hinges on whether or not you have plates with Dora the Explorer's face on it, like maybe you need to rethink your parenting, your life, your expectations. You know what? Just go to church. I don't know. But like people just acted like this ruined everything.
first of all, I've worked.
Yeah,
I
first
work-
world
absolutely
problems, big
first
deal.
world problems.
I
Big,
worked
big.
most Sundays because I was the assistant at the clothing store.
Yep.
And I can personally tell you that going to church does jack shit to treat them like fucking retail workers. It's just like they go in and then they leave, and it's just I don't know if they hit up like Cora's breakfast and then try to like fuck up someone's day in retail, but like it's they come in charged. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, it's just like
And then God spake, treat the retailers like shit. Amen.
Yeah.
that was on the third tablet that came down, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
that was right.
Yeah.
That was with the one where it talks about how homosexuality is completely fine and nobody needs to worry about it. But everybody forgets about that third tablet.
Yeah.
Fuck, Jesus. So, Slick,
Yo,
you haven't said much so far.
I've never worked retail, man.
You've never worked in any kind of service industry?
Well, like, what do you mean?
I don't know.
Service,
You
like-
tell me. Have you worked in anything where your job was to make people happy on a daily basis?
If I did, I failed.
I really.
No, I did ushering.
hmm
So I guess
Where'd you
that's
usher?
kind of like at the WFCU.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I
Good to
did
see
at
all
the
acts and
arena.
stuff for free. I did that
Oh,
before
yeah.
I actually met him.
Mhm.
Not at WFCU. I
Oh.
worked for the city Chrysler Theater.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a pretty good gig.
Man, I used to see like all the symphony
Yeah.
shows, all the plays.
I saw like
awesome.
a couple Cirque du Soleils and
Dope.
all the Spitz games and all that kind of shit. So that was pretty cool. But like,
Mhm.
yeah, people can be like, and they're all drunk.
When did you work there?
For like 5 years. It was like the year after it opened.
Sick.
for
So
5
did you
years.
see Elton?
Yeah, I saw
because
it.
we saw Elton.
Yeah.
I was backstage for Elton.
You were fuck you. I was front row for Elton.
No, fuck you.
Yeah.
That was my birthday, and you got upgraded to front row center. Eat my dick hole.
I
I
cleaned
get
his
these-
dressing room.
I get these Did you meet him?
No, I didn't mean
Damn it. I
shared an elevator with,
I have follow up questions for you. We're gonna.
I shared an elevator with
talk
Carrie
later.
Underwood one time.
With who?
Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, take
Who's
the
Gary
wheel.
Underwood?
Carrie
Underwood.
Oh.
Not Gary.
You were
Gary,
like-
yeah, me and Gary.
Isn't that Jesus take the wheel?
I was
Gary Underwood?
No, Terry.
Gary Underwood.
Carrie? Carrie Underwood.
Carrie, goddamn, that's what I meant. Yeah, Terry.
Frick.
Isn't Carrie Underwood?
I
Get
was
your
told
fucking
that, yeah.
tinnitus checked, bud. Jesus
So
shit.
and then
Fuck, it's getting
like
worse.
I guess like delivering stuff. I mean, I guess everything's kind of a service, right?
That's true.
Like,
That's
I mean,
true.
like I delivered for years, and you interact with people.
Mhm.
They're 50-50.
But I mean, trades guys are different because, like, even when they're happy, they seem really pissed off. Like, oh, thank you so fucking much. You're a fucking great guy, man.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. Yeah, but sometimes you deal with like the homeowners too.
Yeah, that's true.
Once in a while.
People,
And-
I think a large problem with all this that we're saying is like mitigating expectations.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't
So
know.
so let me ask you this as someone who's never really done like a service industry job, like how do you act when you go into these places? Restaurants, stores,
Awkward.
whatever. Awkward.
I don't know, nice. I'm just polite. Like I don't really care until like I'm in my car or whatever leaving. I'm like, that guy's a fucking prick. But I never show it. Like in the heat of the moment, I'm pretty good. Like,
I've never
I'm just-
seen you angry.
Yeah, I tried to not be angry, but I do get angry. I'll let you know. That. Especially at stupid people. Stupid people just really, or ignorant people. Like I don't know, stupid people. Is that okay to say?
Yeah, but why? Stupid
I don't
people
know.
exist.
I don't want to offend
Fuck 'em.
anyone.
Who are you
Fuck
going to offend? Stupid people? We
Listen.
don't want them.
I just get angry at stupid people, but after the fact of dealing with them,
Yeah.
not to their face. Which sometimes, like, I wish I could get angry to their face.
Yeah, all right. But that's good for you. Good for you. that
Yeah, you can
keep a lid
separate
on
it, especially at work, right? It's kind of important.
After I realized, like, how much shit people take on a daily basis, like, partially from my own experience and partially from watching, because then you got, like, service, like restaurants and bars and shit, where it's a different beast entirely.
Oh, I
don't-
never understood that. I never understood how people are dicks to people who fuck with your food. You know what I mean?
my god,
That is some
know.
ballsy shit.
Yeah,
For the sake of your food, yeah, but also, like, what's up your ass, man?
both. Yeah, but
Yeah,
like both.
yeah.
Like chill.
Nothing it would annoy me more because I served for a bit too. Like not
yeah,
just
you did all this.
not just not just drinks. I served food and stuff as well. And working in a restaurant teaches you a shit ton. But that's one thing. Is like I used to hate like why is it taking so long? You just kind of look around the dining room like we're fucking packed.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
It's just like well then they should have more people in the back. And it's like yeah probably. But at the same time it's just like is any more fucking food going to fit on the grill? No. So
Yeah, like
right.
Sir, you should run for Congress. You seem to have it all fucking figured out.
oh yeah, people think it's like instant.
Mickey, you know there's no Congress here, right?
Well, what?
you can just go
For
wait in the car
office,
now.
is that better?
Jackie, you
second
want a
card.
job?
Yeah,
you
that's
want to be
okay.
on a podcast?
Oh,
bro?
job.
I wouldn't mind.
Hold on. He's going to get paid for it?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Duh.
We all get paid.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
just
see.
not
I see.
you.
Fair enough.
Even
That's
even
why I'm
VIP, yeah, VIP getting paid.
It's all coming together now.
Phil's getting paid the big
You think
dollars.
sound engineers just work for free?
Still in debt from that.
Oh. Jesus. So, if you guys had to describe your experience working retail in one word, what would that one word be?
Fuck.
Beautiful.
Fuck off. I don't believe that shit at all. Chucky, what would you say?
I'm thinking.
Eye-opening?
I was gonna say impactful.
I asked one word. And
I
you
know,
said
but I
two.
Yeah, right. I know. That's what I'm trying to think.
This
of
is
one
why,
word.
Mickey.
No, I'm like, fuck your one-word thing. I'm going to give you something else because I can't think of one fucking word. Because, like, it's not just one word.
You could have said enlightening.
For me, it was impactful.
Impactful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like looking back, and I know everything's. I know hindsight's always 20/20, but looking back as to where I started and where I'm at now, I feel like my retail career heavily influenced where I'm at today and influenced like how I engage with people.
Really?
Yeah.
So in a good way, or?
In a good way. Like overall, like I learned a ton of stuff working in retail that I've been able to apply in jobs that I've worked in since.
Okay.
And not even so much in like a professional level, but I think a personal level as well too. I learned a lot.
Okay.
We can get into like stories and stuff later as to like how, but
Yeah, well, I mean, go for it. Tell me something.
so working in retail, and especially I've worked in big companies, I've worked in mid-sized, small, whatever. But for example, like the last clothing store that I worked in was probably the best company I think I've ever worked for.
Really?
Yes. I mean, didn't necessarily get paid a ton. Like it was a family-run business. They had like 30 locations here in Ontario, pretty much just Ontario-based. But I didn't make a ton of money. But in terms of the opportunity that they gave me because they saw potential in me, I was always very grateful for that. Like they knew that I didn't want to move to London or Toronto to take a store, even though they would have loved me to. But I would travel to other stores around the province and go and like train and develop new teams because they saw the effect that I was having on the people in my store.
Okay, so maybe I'm just jaded and bitter. I mean, I'm definitely jaded and bitter, but so much of this stuff is just ancient history for me now. But I still, like, when I think about it, I really struggle to find any kind of silver lining. So you're talking about this very positively, and I think that's amazing. But don't you think that it would have been just a wonderful opportunity if you had made any kind of fucking money? Like, yeah, it's cool that they trust you and everything, but they trust you because they need somebody to do it. And they ain't gonna, and yet they're just, sitting there sipping daiquiris or whatever the fuck ever.
My dad has an expression. He always says that, how does it go? A favor in your pocket is better than $1 in your hand. And
how's that work out when the company closes down?
well, I was gone before that happened. But just like that, though, the opportunity that they gave me to go and do all that extra stuff was something that I was able to, I was able to internalize and like take on to other positions and stuff like that. But I was also able to market myself because of the opportunity that they gave me. And had I been in a company that necessarily just paid me more, I probably would have been stationary, wouldn't have had that mobility, and I probably wouldn't necessarily be where I'm at today.
Okay,
So,
I dig that. I understand that.
I try to see like the positive in everything, but
you know what I got really good at?
what's that?
Lying. And this whole philosophy, I know we've talked about like the Jordan Peterson thing, never lie. That did not exist in Fresh at the time, and I refused to lie about one thing specifically. When people would say, "How are you?" And I always felt I was just in such a horrible mental state. I always felt I should make someone regret asking me, "How are you?" So I'd just be like, like this place sucks and I'm having an awful day. Or I'd say if it was good, but less often. And because I just felt it was so facetious, so disingenuous. And I know Mickey would, again, disagree with me because you're just such a friendly guy who likes helping people. But
well, again, if you get someone who's a dick, you're going to kind of double back on them with their same kind of energy. You're going to go, okay, you're going to be a dick, fine. I'm not going to be as cordial as I would have with somebody else.
yeah.
But on the telling people how it is, I kind of joke and mean it at the same time. So people come and go like, "Oh, how you doing today?" I'm like, you know what? We don't have time. Let's just focus on it. Or when they tell me, like, "Oh, yeah, don't work too hard." I'm like, "Don't worry. They don't pay me enough to."
Oh my god.
Oh, I said it right in front of my boss, and he just laughs. And he's like, "Yeah, I know." Like, he knows that I'm just fucking kidding, but
Right.
it's kind of what it is.
Can I take it back to you for 1 second? So you said that people would ask you how you're doing, and you'd like lie, or you just want to tell me like I'm having a fucking terrible day, blah 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 blah. Was it because, knowing what I know now about you, is it because work was shitty, or were you going through stuff personally, or was work affecting your personal, and it was kind of like
It was.
See what I'm saying?
It was both for sure, but I guess the reason I'm still bitter in hindsight is because at the time I was really dissatisfied with life, right? Like I was really just everything was bad. And that's not anybody else's fault. That's my fault. But when I went somewhere where I then was appreciated, then it wasn't like I didn't look back on it like, oh, what a good growth experience. I look back because I didn't. I might have grown the first couple of years, yeah, for sure. But then after that, I was just getting fucked for like 5 years. And I was like, my God, this is what it's like to be paid a living wage. And this is what it's like when someone says thank you. And this is what it's like when your boss recognizes the work you do, you know, instead of taking credit for it or something. And it just made me so much angrier. So I think, I know, that's kind of the theme, but I think that for me, the reason it was just so shit was it primarily stemmed from a lack of recognition and a lack of, lack of recognition, because recognition takes many forms, right? One of them being financial. So when they told me, oh, the company doesn't have this money to give you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, first of all.
You got
But second of all.
more money than God.
Yeah. But second of all, I was then, you know, I could at least be called out on that for not actually knowing, but then what I learned about it after I left, and they immediately paid someone a lot more. Fuck you, you know. So it was, it was just a rough time for me.
Sounds wonderful.
Listening to that too, it makes me think back when I first started. I'm just kind of going, yeah, like it was constantly, yeah, you're doing your job, good, get back to work, you piece of shit. Like there was never any positive reinforcement or recognition. But I don't think I would be who I am today if it wasn't for retail, period.
So
Whoa.
go on. I want to hear more.
I was, before you knew me, I was an extremely shy, reserved person. The idea of walking up to a counter and ordering food was crippling. It was not on the agenda whatsoever.
Okay, yeah, I see
So,
that.
When my first taste of it, I was working at Home Depot, and it was the one that was by
You worked at Home Depot?
just for like
That's amazing.
3 months. But I was just helping
Did
close
you have
up.
a beard?
I don't think I did then.
Oh.
No, I was still clean shaven. But I was just there to help them clean up, pack up the store because they were moving it elsewhere. But at the very last day, they gave us sections to kind of like just stuff that wasn't going to move to the next store. It's like, if you don't sell it, we're throwing it out, sort of thing. And that was my first kind of like, oh, hey, let me try and help you with this sale. After that, it was straight to Green Earth, and I applied for a stock position. I'm like, good, I'm not on the floor. I don't have to talk to anybody. I barely even have to talk to my boss. This is great.
Yeah.
Within the first week, 5 people were either fired or quit.
Wow.
So
I forgot you worked at Green Earth.
Yeah.
2
I
years.
forgot about Green Earth.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people did. That
Yeah,
explains some
it
shit.
explains a lot of shit. So immediately like, okay, you're on the floor, bud. And I was terrified. My boss at the time, and just a little fun factoid, while I was there for 2 years, I went through it. There was at least 6 managers. Awful place to work.
Wow.
And mind you, also, I started working there when the housing market crashed, so people were losing their homes, so they couldn't put garbage in their homes. And they blamed us for that solely. Anyways, my first experience on the floor, and I shit you not, I was told to fuck off by a customer.
That's amazing.
You know what though? It's great to start at a rock bottom. You're like, can't
Absolutely.
fucking possibly get any worse than this.
Hold on. Oh, I can. So the way it worked at Green Earth, it was when a customer stopped, you talked about that product, whether they fucking wanted it or not. It was awful. Like you always felt attacked in that store. So
Okay, so if I walk up and I'm looking at the Fresh Slick and Mick FSM Fairly Standard mug,
yeah.
then you say,
I say, oh, you like that product? Well, it's made from this, made from that. The people who do it are this, and it's
Fuck off.
Oh no, it's horrible. So here's me, almost like playing with my shirt, nervous as fuck, and he goes, okay, go talk to him. I'm like, okay, this product, and then the one was very receptive, the other one was not very nice. They were together, and she goes, no, we're not looking to buy anything. We're just killing time before we catch our flight. And I'm just thinking, like, what the fuck are you doing here? Go. Like, from what I've never been on a plane, but from what I understand of planes, you're there like 3 hours early. So I don't know why you're here. So again, just
I gotta catch a flight. You want to go to Green Earth?
what? Right? So
Got to get my Buddha board for the fucking.
I guess so. So again, like every time they stopped, I'm talking to them, and then at the very end, the woman said to me, she goes, "No, fuck off! You're harassing us. We're never fucking coming back. I hope you fucking like just that." And the next thing, I walk.
Oh man,
So-
she laid into you.
Oh,
right?
just totally. I'm just going, oh my God. So I walk over to my boss to kind of get him to go like, hey, it's okay. Sometimes that happens. What'd you do wrong there?
Oh, the worst
I
kind
am
of person.
not fucking kidding.
Did you
Wha-
sock him?
No. Me just barely coming out of my shell. I'm just like,
Barely
oh.
any skin and bone.
Well, and I'm like, I haven't. I don't know. What did I do? I thought I did everything right because every time they stopped, I fucking talked to them about the fucking product. But from there, though,
So you're just like following them around 2 feet behind?
literally, oh yeah, it was awful. But from that, I just decided, like, no, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to develop my own way, and the rest is sounding cliche. Like the rest is history. I did it myself.
Okay, hold on.
Sure.
You're telling me that Mickey didn't used to be Mickey?
There was a point where Mickey used to be some guy named Sean that nobody liked and probably smelled bad too.
Why did you
Aren't
smell
you one of
bad,
those
Yeah,
Doug?
why did you smell that?
I don't know. I just said probably.
Oh.
Nobody liked me, so I figured maybe that was part of it.
Is there like...
He just changed his name.
Oh,
That
it
sounds
still
solid.
smells bad.
Still the same stench.
But
You know what? When you say it like that, I can give you a better answer, Chuckie. First of all, I learned how to fake it till you make it with people. Because I was kind of like Mickey, really. And I think it honestly took me longer because even when I was a manager, I still didn't really have any kind of people skills or anything. Again, as you guys can attest to.
sure, what if you don't mind my saying, what did you think of my interactions with customers? Like before, like we kind of came somewhat buddy. Just what were you just kind of like, what the fuck is up with this kid? Was there any of that, or is it just like, okay, he's doing his job?
No, I was always. This is the thing is I was always very grateful for you because you, far from seeming shy or introverted, you seemed like you genuinely liked talking to people and helping them, which I would say is a true fact.
Very true. My boss says I need to wear a shirt that says "Don't talk to me, I'm on duty."
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
exactly. Yeah, because you can talk a fucking elephant off a hippo. You know how to get up there? You talked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were always great like that, man. But it was I learned how to fudge that stuff, and then I learned how to be sincere about it. You know how to ask someone a question about their day in a non-facetious, cliche, typical way, or how to take genuine interest in something. And I realized, kind of fucking just like with this podcast, I realized, we're not going to do regular stuff. Like, I'm going to go right for you. I'm not going to ask normal things like, small talk, I guess you'd say. I'm going to go right for who you are. And I kind of learned how to make that my exterior, and so it felt more genuine.
Okay.
Okay, I can see. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also I learned a lot about leadership. Mostly don'ts, because I was so angry all the time. And I mean, I was a hair trigger. I was telling Avery this the other day how fucking, what are you laughing at?
I'm thinking about the day when you came in and we had this punch clock and it was a biometric scanner,
Yeah,
so
I
you had to
remember
you had to put your finger on it. You always use your middle finger.
Yeah,
That was like that was his subtle fuck you to this company
Yeah.
for like 6 years.
everybody
or whatever
else
it
is
was.
doing their index.
Yeah, middle. And the one day it's not reading it, and it was causing problems because now people were missing punches. You're gonna have to do a bunch of shit at the end of the day. And he comes in. I just happen to walk in the back room, and he fucking loses it. This thing is on. It's right next to the manager's office, and it was on its own little mounted shelf that was attached to this
To the wall in
to
a cabinet, like
the
in
wall
a
of the
corner,
cabinet. Yeah. He like tries like 3 times. It's not taken, and he just walks up and he fucking winds up like he's giving it the
remember.
old Charlie Brown kick. And he didn't miss this football, that's for sure. This fucking shelf and this scanner went flying. And I literally opened the door, and I'm like, I don't need to be back here right now. I'm just going to give him a minute.
It's one of those.
You all right,
days.
bud?
No.
Yeah. And like now I look back at that and I'm like, there's no that rage was so misplaced and pointless.
You were
right?
a whistling tea kettle.
Yeah, I know.
I once.
You were always good with me, though.
Well, because it was different.
I
and
was
not-
also competent, and I worked.
Bingo.
And
bingo.
yeah.
Not to say that I specifically singled people out, and like it was years before you and I were good friends, and it was more years before you and I, Mickey, were good
I
friends.
don't think it was that long for you and I, though.
Well, it was a couple years. It was a couple years.
Maybe.
But
Wasn't really.
anyway, what I'm trying to say is I wasn't playing favorites. It was literally just like, I want to talk more to the people who can actually do their job. It's kind of the opposite of nepotism, right? That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So
I'm going to challenge you on the 2 years thing because you didn't have a choice but to be my friend. Because I'd go over, I'd hang out with, I don't want to drop name, but when I was dating, what's her name?
Slick's cousin.
Slick's cousin.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
Stop.
Oh, probably.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about the same
Yes.
person. Okay,
Yes.
that's great. Hey, what's up, man?
I'm just hanging out doing this podcast.
So when I was, that is fucking hilarious. Anyway, so
thought
when I
you
was
knew
dating,
that.
I did not.
Oh,
This is
shit.
all new to me. So when I was dating Slick's cousin,
Small world.
small world. So when I would be hanging out with her, and she literally lived. She lived with her dad, who was right across the street from Fresh.
Yeah,
like
you could literally throw a rock.
yeah, actually.
Yeah.
So I'd go over to her place and be like, "Hey, do you want to go see Fresh?" And be like, "Absolutely." And we just fucking show up on your door with a coffee or whatever. And
Yeah.
yep. And this is back when you were dating that broad.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just not a good
That
person.
fucking
Not
broad.
not missed.
Not missed
Not
at all.
missed at all.
Yep.
No, but you guys got me in trouble though, because she would like Slick's cousin would come over, and like there was literally nothing to this. We were just buddies. Like to this day, it's the same vibe, right? Like just chill. And she'd bring like a pizza, and we'd be playing Scrabble. I'll never forget one time we're playing Scrabble, and she's sitting on the floor, and I'm sitting on the couch, and we got pizza, Napoli's, what up, baby, and chocolate milk, which is like now the most gut-wrenching
Oh, yeah.
combination I can possibly think of, but the shit hit
Cheap
when I was
cheese and
fucking
dairy.
22. Yeah. But and then my girlfriend walks in and just takes a look at this strange woman she's never seen before sitting beside her boyfriend, and is like, I'm gonna go now. And I was like, no. Like, it's like, this is just a friend. Like, you've heard me talk about her. We work together, whatever. Holy shit, I got ripped apart that night. I got just fucking tore up from the floor up, and not in the fun alcoholic way or anything. I got massacred. And I was like, I don't know how to explain this to you, that this is just a friend. I've told you better 50 times. But yeah, that got me in a lot of trouble. So I shed the dead weight of dating that girl, and I got you as a friend. So that
There
was
we
at
go.
least positive.
Look at that.
Interesting. I just kind of thought of it. She got me the job at Party Packagers.
Oh, that's right too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Man,
you know
this
what-
is all.
and you know
this all
what's-
revolves around you, Slick.
And you know what's actually funny though?
My cousin?
Yeah.
She got me the
She
job
got
there.
you that job at.
At where we
And
used to work.
yeah.
And you know what's
Holy
hilarious?
fuck.
And-
Damn.
and not to bring up like old wounds or anything like that, but you like
Old wounds.
her best friend went on to be your girlfriend for like what 3-4 years,
Between 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it was a central friendship to
You
a
know,
lot of development.
I'm pretty sure I was there when Mickey was playing guitar around the fire.
Oh shit!
that would have made sense.
I
yeah.
remember being somewhere, and I'm sure you were there.
I just
I'm
wanted
almost sure you were there, and there was a dude who was smashed by himself
just
playing
like
guitar.
sadly strumming
Yeah.
guitar.
Yeah.
Oh my
I shit
God, you were there
fucking
too.
Not. Yeah.
I hate my
Right in the
life.
back there.
I just wish I was dead right now.
But you're our guy now.
Right, yeah,
I
it's
know,
no biggie.
but-
Do you know how many times I've been shit faced around a fire?
Fair enough.
Not playing guitar, just passed out.
Just sad.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Anyway, sorry.
I don't even remember where the fuck all that
It
was
just
coming
a
from.
rant.
It
Yeah,
is the
we just
retail.
went on a tangent there.
Oh yeah.
It
We
is-
all went off the rails.
Yeah.
It is the retail that binds us.
It is actually though, which
When-
is scary.
When I said that it was impactful, when
Yeah.
I look at my friend circle, the people that are closest to me, and yeah, I don't need constant communication and all that other shit. But
Oh,
like,
we know.
yeah, like we'll hang out today. We probably won't hang out for like a month because I'll get busy or whatever. But then we'll wind up meeting up or we'll shoot the shit, and it'll be like we were never apart. That's the way at least I kind of look at it. But
Yeah.
when I look at a lot of my friends, though, all of my friends are all people that I have made from retail.
Wow.
Like I got you two right here. I met you through Proxy, obviously.
Yep. Yep.
But I
enough.
mean, I've gone on to stand in people's weddings that I've worked with, and you know, it's great to be like it's honestly crazy to think that it started in 2009. I got my first retail job. Actually, working with you was only supposed to be for like 2 or 3 months until I turned 18, and I was gonna get hired on by the first clothing store that I worked at.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first phone conversation we
I was
ever
gonna
had?
ask if you meant the 21st night of September. But yes, I do. So my telephone number, and you know what's fucking hilarious? I'll get into that in a second. So my telephone number is 1 digit off from someone that he worked with prior to. Did she work at?
Oh yeah,
PP?
she worked with us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never worked with her.
but she was a friend.
Yes. So her telephone number is 1 digit off from mine. And I called in after I got hired to get my schedule or something like that. And I called in, and he happened to be in the manager's office and saw the number, stopped reading after the 6th digit, apparently. Fucking picks up. He's like, what the fuck do you want? And I'm like, I checked my phone, and I'm like, did I call work? I'm like, what? I'm like, hi, my name's Chuckie, and I'm just calling about my schedule. And I'm pretty sure your job flashed before your eyes.
Oh no, I hung up. I acted like it was the wrong number, and I just went click. I didn't even say shit when I realized my error, because I was like, oh, this is gonna go bad. And then you called back like 2 minutes later, and I was just like, oh yeah, sure, let me get that for you.
But you know what's hilarious? Because I don't want to drop her name. But what's funny is that happened, and I'd say, probably maybe once a month. It'd be like a Friday or a Saturday. I'd get a call like really late at night, being like, "Hey, is so and so there?" And I'm like, "Nope." And then, sorry, hey, is so and so there? No, sorry, wrong number. And then when you actually told me 1 digit off, that's the name that people kept dropping all the time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. So why were they
Fucking
calling
hilarious.
so late? Was she hoeing?
I don't know. Maybe like they're out drinking or what. It would always be like a Friday or Saturday night, and it'd be like later on in the evening, like 11, 12 o'clock, and I'm sure trying to
Probably just me calling. That's how it all disconnects.
Just like calling this girl. Amazing.
Years ago.
Windsor.
Okay,
right?
so have y'all seen like the Karen memes? You know, I'd like to speak to a manager type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a buddy I work with, John Brett, he made this song called Karen, parentheses, customer service. You have to check it out. It's actually really, really funny. But he, it highlighted all these things again. And that whole like, you know, can I speak to the manager haircut of the soccer mom, etc. Like that's a real thing, you know? Chuckie, please explain to me about stereotypes. Tell me the thing about stereotypes.
I feel like
No, it's not a setup.
What do
you always say about stereotypes?
What I would say about stereotypes is that I'll stop stereotyping when they start proving me wrong.
Okay, that wasn't exactly the line I was looking for,
What was
but
it?
close enough.
Which one is it?
Oh, fuck, I don't remember. You used to say it all the time. I stereotype, it's quicker.
Oh,
Or something like that.
Oh, yes.
It's from a movie.
So I stole it from a movie called Up in the Air with George Clooney.
Yeah.
He's training this new salesperson who wants to revolutionize his business, and they're like, take her out on the road. So he's explaining to, like, because he lives on the road and he's always in airports. So she shows up with her big luggage case and her fucking neck pillow and all this other shit, and he's just like, you don't need this fucking pillow. Like, they got pillows on the plane. And he's just like, and he's like, this is inefficient. He goes and gets her a roller case and stuff. So they're at the TSA like check-in lines and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he starts going through, and she's like, oh, she goes to jump in a random line. He's like, He's like, 5 words, randomly selected for additional screening. And it's like 2 like Middle Eastern people trying to go through airport security.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next one is like, it's a new couple and they've got a baby, right? And they're trying to collapse the stroller. And he's like, I've never seen a stroller collapse in under 20 minutes. And he's like, well, he's like, what about that one? And he's like, and there's like these old people going through the metal detector. He's like, no, never behind old people. Their bodies are littered with metal. And then he gets to the last, and then there's like two Asian gentlemen, and they're trying to go through, right? So they're like, taking their belts and stuff off, and he's like, Asians love them. He's like, they pack light, and they got a thing for slip-on shoes, and she's like, that's racist. And then he goes and he turns to her, and he's just like, I'm like my mother, I stereotype, it's faster.
Oh man.
But it's the same thing, you know what I mean? And that's that sort of thing. Like all of the worst people, I never knew their names. I knew one person's name, and I'm gonna say it because I don't know her last name, and she'll never hear this. But it was Rose, and Rose was a fucking nightmare. She was just awful. you name it. She came in, she wanted the world. She was so demanding. Everything had to be yesterday. Everything had to be cheaper, 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 cheaper. And I'm like, lady, you know, like I make like $13.89, right? I cannot do this for you.
Yeah.
I don't make the prices.
Yeah, I don't make the fucking prices up. And she was always like that, always like that. And you know, I want to speak to your manager. Well, I am the manager. Oh, well, give me somebody else's card, you know. Just man, fuck you. What I want to know is what those people think they're going to achieve.
To everyone out there, do not go into a store and bitch about the prices to the workers there. They don't fucking care. They'd like them to be cheaper so that they're not having that conversation with you. And at the end of the day, they don't make the prices. So everything you're saying is falling on deaf ears. And be nice to them, because you're going to walk out of that store and you're going to be made the butt of a joke, and you're going to wind up being the story on a podcast years later.
Yeah, that's right.
It's true. It's true.
Fuck you, Rose.
Fuck you, Rose.
With yours, I
I hope
agree.
you're fucking listening.
Agree, disagree, agree.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, the price is lower. Doesn't fucking matter. Unless it's free, they won't be happy.
Yeah.
Even if it's free, they expect you to walk out of their fucking
You know,
car.
I've got a friend right now, and he went off and he opened up his own company. It's a lighting company, and they've been open for like 3-4 years. They've recently just decided, because of e-commerce and like you can't compete with Wayfair and Amazon and all these other
Sure.
fuckers, especially with their return policies. Like, oh, it showed up broken, not a problem. We'll go and send you another one. You can fucking keep that one too. So he wound up they just had to close their showroom, but they're still going to do commercial stuff. But he's got people that are coming in, and he's got everything slashed at like 50%. Like some of the stuff in there is actually cheaper than what he paid for it. They're just trying to liquidate it, and people are coming in and they're being like, "Oh, I'll give you this for it," and he's like, "No, you are already getting a better deal than I got. There's this is it. The buck stops." But yeah.
But yeah, Karen's never going to understand that.
Yep. No. The other thing too, sorry, and I don't know why this just tripped my memory, but I look at big name stores that have closed in our mall over the year, not just our mall, but other ones as well. Like, you know, Danier Leather, around for years, closed up. HMV, around for years, closed up. I felt so bad when these places went out of business, not only because we were losing like Staples and stuff like that, and it's a bad sign for retail and blah 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 blah. Not even the fact that these people are going to be out of a job and not know where their next paycheck is going to come from, but the fucking treatment that they are going to endure until the day that those doors shut. Yeah. People are ruthless. I walked into HMV when they closed. And they have all it's like the early stages, right? They tier in their promotions, right? So you start, 10 to 20% off, 20 to 50, whatever.
Yes.
So they've got everything, they're in the early phases. They've got everything marked and clearly marked 30 to 50%. This woman picks up something that was 30% off. It rang up at 30% off. She's like, well, it says 50%. She's like, no. And I'm watching this entire dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And she's taking it. And she's doing such a good job. And at the end, I'm like, the entire time, I'm like, you're fucking going out of business. Just fucking blow up. You don't care. Like, you don't need it. Whatever. Blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then the woman goes off on her. And what does she say? She's just like, you're a fucking liar. She's like, I'm happy you guys are losing your jobs and this, that, whatever. And she basically just turned around. And she's like, man, she's like, I don't give a flying fuck what you, and just gave it to her. And I'm like, you are the epitome of what every retail worker aspires to be on their last day.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
I always wanted to pick up the phone, and this was like kind of a last day fantasy, but kind of just like I want to still keep coming to work and do this, and just go Party City, go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it was never good.
Well, and the fact, so, if I may, I want to touch on that real quick. So I've worked for corporate, and I've worked for mom and pop.
Mm-hmm. What do you prefer?
Mom and pop.
100%.
Every time.
100%
Yep.
Now, do mom and pops sometimes kind of run like a slave train, kind of like the corporate, to one degree or another? Like, they want you for cheap. Labor's cheap. They'll give you no benefits and all that. And I get that, but they kind of respect you a little bit more.
Can we like avoid slavery references, guys?
I feel like
we're not-
we've dropped a
Okay.
few.
It's
And
not. It's
So I
not
put a
necessary.
sweatshop. All right.
Yes, thank you, Slick.
My apologies to that, and sincerely. So, but the thing is, when it comes to corporate, I hate the scripts. I hate the pure, on its face, plastic fake. Nothing about corporate is real. So I would hate, especially because like your district managers, apparently their only job was to call and see if you were answering the phone correctly.
Ooh.
Oh.
Thank you for calling Party City. Your blah 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 perfect party bullshit nonsense
Thanks for calling
jargon.
Thanks for calling Party City, where no one has more party for less.
Yeah,
No.
something to that shit.
Is that what it was?
It was thank you for calling Party Packers. It was thank
Your
you for calling
perfect party superstore.
Thank you for calling Party Packers, your perfect party superstore. And then Party City was thank you for calling Party City, where no one has more party for less, or
Something
something
like that.
along those lines.
But-
I didn't say that shit once.
But the thing is, like, so when
way
you,
to be a leader.
when you'd get the district manager and you said it wrong, oh, that's not right. You're just going, I'm sorry. Do you not have anything fucking better to do? Like, I'm fucking busy here. Like, I got a line of people. I gotta answer the fucking phone because you're gonna yell at me. I don't answer the fucking phone.
I used to
Like, make up your mind here.
You know what's a cruel fucking punchline is mystery shoppers.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna send somebody in who knows not even a tenth of what you know about your job, and then we're gonna have them evaluate you. Because
Yeah.
mystery shoppers is just a program, right? Like these guys don't know anything about the businesses.
a friend of mine does it. He goes into the banks and like he'll go and have to like he'll go and he'll talk to someone. They schedule an appointment, but he has to make sure that they're offering like I'll make it up. He's dealing at the front line,
Right.
or he actually goes and meets with someone. They have to talk about the account packages, and they have to be like, oh, did they offer you a credit card? Blah 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 blah. Like all this box ticking shit that you have to do.
Yeah.
And it's
Wow.
like this person knows nothing about your model, but you're gonna wind up eating shit after it because they now have your name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
They
You
used
know-
to have those at
No, go ahead,
at the arena.
For like mystery shoppers?
Yeah, like so as a guest, right?
Yeah.
And you'd have to be on your, I didn't really care, but some people were just like terrible at their job. Just
No, for sure. And those people, by all means, like, oust them. Like, 100%. Like, fuck them.
whatever.
But-
it was still dirty.
But the
I'd-
thing
I'd
is, it's
do it.
like, okay, you're paying me dog shit. You're going to evaluate me on my performance. But you're probably paying that schmuck more than you fucking pay me
Absolutely.
to fucking out me on this. Like, go to fucking hell. Like, I will show you the full package. I will smile so big for you, and I will make sure you are treated well. Pay me right. And you'll have excellent service every fucking time.
Absolutely.
I-
Absolutely, man.
I remember seeing what was it? I remember seeing a meme, and it was customer. Well, that's not good customer service. And then the response was, well, I reserved that for good customers. And that's something, and like that has stayed with me forever because
Absolutely.
you, like you said, you got to fake it till you make it, and you're the man on front line of defense, whatever you want to call it. The environments that I've always worked in, especially the first clothing company,
Yep.
they looked at daily operations, and this is how they trained you, is that the minute that how do they word it? It was like the idea was that every single day was like a party and you were the host.
Okay.
So when the doors
God.
opened, that's showtime. Like they would parallel it to like a theatrical performance or whatever. And we're all the players and blah 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 blah. So everything had to be good all the time, even when it wasn't. So when shit's hitting the fan and the fucking debit machines are down on Boxing Day and
Oh,
you're doing
no.
manuals and you're taking shit from customers and you're trying to put on a brave face and figure out what the fuck's going on with Bell at the same time. It's a lot.
I got something because I've never worked in. That sounds like first of all, that sounds like an absolute nightmare. Like for me and like
We did $30,000 in manuals
yeah.
on Boxing Day.
I just remember that
We
from
were-
working at McDonald's
On
and when the
pantaloons?
debit machines would go down, it's like
on pantaloons.
that's insane.
Oh, and then
Oh, with
more
clothing.
so, oh, am I gonna get a discount then? Because I gotta go and get fucking cash.
Does that happen?
Oh God, yes. If your debit machine is, I've always found when the debit machine's down, they want more discounts.
Okay, can I since I've never worked retail,
Yep.
by I guess definition or whatever, I can speak on being a customer.
All right, so go for it.
I don't understand why people are such assholes. Like straight up, my entire life I have always been nice to the person I am dealing with, and I'm patient, and like I understand that they're a fucking human, and they probably don't want to be. If their computer goes down, it's not like they wanted that to happen. So I'm not gonna fucking
exactly.
yell at the person. Like I know my shit fucks up all the time, right? But I just don't. I see it when I'm out, and I just don't get it. I'm like, why are you being a complete fucking prick to this poor fucking kid working, just folding clothes, trying to just get through his day.
Yeah,
you
trying
know?
to pay for college or some shit.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Are you guys pricks? Or are you guys all? I mean, you guys all have experience in retail. So
Oh, dude,
you're I assume that you're all mega like respectful toward the people.
Patient
Every
as
single time.
Yeah.
fuck.
Absolutely. Always patience. Always like trying to be as cordial as possible, as understanding as possible. But the reason you don't get it, Slick, is because you've never worked for the big three. You've never been told
yeah.
you're the lifeblood of this community.
I guess. I don't know. I've
This
had.
city works because you do.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Fuck off.
I haven't worked retail, but I've had
60%
jobs.
service jobs. Suck my dick.
Oh yeah. I've had shit jobs, so I think I can like relate on that. And I've been paid shit for jobs that like should probably be paid more.
Yeah.
And so I get it. I guess.
That. And retail is a very underpaid profession.
I agree.
Absolutely.
The amount of
100%.
like, I hate. You know, we've talked about this a million times, but I hate listening to people that work for the big three or they work in the mold shops, and they think that because they have a physically exertive job, that the work that these retail people do, like, oh well, they just fold jeans for a living. They just do. No. There's so much shit on their plate all the fucking time, and they're constantly being bombarded by different personalities that are not receptive to they're not receptive to the information that they're being given or whatever it might be. Every day is like another battle. I would go home after being forced to talk to people for 8 to 12 hours a day.
Oh my god.
You go home and it's like you don't want. I would drive home in silence. I would sit home.
Oh, yeah.
To this day, I'll go home and like after a long day, I'll sit down at 7:00. TV won't be on, and I'll just sit there on my phone
Yeah.
for like
Just
3-4 hours, just trying to collect my thoughts. And
I'll say it's actually ruined relationships for me.
retail or work.
Retail.
Same.
Okay.
Same, bro.
Because when I come home, the last thing I want to hear is how shit your fucking day was.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't.
Oh, I bet,
like
eh?
like I care about you. You're a very valuable person to me, and I love you being around. But I really don't fucking care.
Okay, I wasn't gonna say like that. You just made yourself sound kind of horrible.
No, it's just because like I care, but it's just like I don't want to hear it. I want quiet. I want to be
say,
left alone.
At this moment, I'm already emotionally and mentally exhausted, and I have no more space for this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I mean that's one thing, but to say like don't talk to me.
no, I'm not gonna actually. I don't say it, but it's just that's what you really want to fucking say because you want to say it to everybody who's coming your store all fucking day.
Now,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what? Like retail didn't hasn't ruined any of my previous relationships. But when I actually left retail and went into something else, I was so dialed in at work that I couldn't see all the faults in my relationship at the time. And
Oh, sure.
And I wasn't perfect. Neither was she. But at the same time, like I think there's fault on both sides. But one of the things looking back is that I was probably really negative because of how stressed out I was all the time and how I was working towards a goal that I wasn't getting there fast enough. And I would come home and I would probably bitch about my job, and she might go and say it's like how bad her day was, and then like because she's told me that, like now I'm like, oh my god, I also had a really shitty day, and I would overpower that. So what you just said right now, and I want to talk about it later on, but it's important to kind of give people that feedback as well.
Sure.
Not necessarily be like, hey, I've also had a really fucking bad day and I don't want to hear your shit. But there's a nicer way to deliver
Well, no,
it. But
but I was very much a guttural way of saying it. But, go ahead, please.
when I was in that spot, I was like, I refused to talk about work. I would not say what my profession was. I would say like I work retail. I didn't say where I worked. I didn't want to talk about it. Nothing. No one. Don't ever ask me how my day was because I hated it that fucking much. So when I say like it ruined relationships, like I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. Like I couldn't be around people because I was just seething with bitterness and hatred so much, And it would be people like VIP or close friends only who could actually get it and get me to like think about something else because it was just miserable. It was just fucking awful.
And I praise you because
What?
Yes, at one point when you first started going, maybe this guy's all right. I'll let him, come hang out at my place. It wasn't you, but it was somebody else who was just like, nope, do not talk about work. You're not at work, don't fucking talk about it. No, zero work talk. That was your rule.
Nazi zombies.
Nazi
that's-
zombies. We
but-
killed
Nazi zombies.
a lot of COD.
But holy fuck, did I ever adopt that? With when I would hang out with other people from my other jobs, like, oh, blah, blah, like, nope, no work talk. I was there with you. I saw that. Karen was a fucking cunt. I don't need to relive it.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about it.
And You know, it's good when you say it like that. You don't need to like rehash that shit and just, you know, make yourself angry or whatever. But for me, the reason that isn't positive is because like you should be able to talk about your day. You should at least be able to, in a cursory way, tell your friends and loved ones like what you do on a regular basis, you know? And I couldn't. I literally couldn't. So I couldn't talk about the bulk of my waking hours on the bulk of my days because I just hated it so much. And like it literally was ruining my life. Not to suggest that this is on the company. This is on me for not taking action sooner. But like that's how bad it was.
So you guys did that one episode on personalities. And that's actually one of my favorite, like the whole introvert, extrovert, ambivert.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That's one of my favorite episodes you guys have done because around the time that you guys did that, I was thinking to myself about I was being more self-reflexive, and I was just kind of thinking like I feel like back in the day, like especially when I met you, I was extremely extroverted. You know, go out of my way to like meet people and blah 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 blah. And to an extent, I'm still like that. I have no problem interacting with people, but I've almost swung the other way where I've gone from being very extroverted to more middle of the road where I'm like more of an ambivert. And when you're in a profession like retail where you're constantly bombarded with people, depending as to what side of that spectrum you're on,
Yeah.
it's far more mentally taxing.
Oh,
Well, and bro, that's such a valuable point, and I think that's why I was so ill-suited for it. Like even when I worked sales at my current workplace, like yeah, I was good at it because I make myself be good at my job. I feel like that's what you owe your employer.
But it's not an area that complements your personality.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it was a hard learned lesson because and I think that's a failing of obviously myself, as I've always said, but it's a failing of an employer too to not recognize like this is clearly not you. Like when I walk into work and I blow the time clock off the wall because it refuses to work, that's not healthy.
Right.
Somebody should have been like, hey man, maybe this isn't for you. Because I had bosses and they would just laugh at my rage fits. It's not responsible to walk around smashing shit in.
No, at that point you're enabling.
Yeah, exactly. And like, how many times did I, you know, a fucking scanner gun wouldn't work or the paperwork would be off or, you know, just regular shit. And it really was regular shit because shit happens. So this shit happens every day on a daily basis. And I would lose it. I was like a Kyle punching holes in things, you know? No monster, but still.
you remember when we worked together, and I would just be like, there'd be, you know, just what happens. You get an order, and I'm like, nah, fuck that, man. I'm just pissed that people are like, you know, ordering shit because that's what they're, you know.
Yeah, it's
I get it,
literally
though.
what the business is.
Yeah, I get it. I've been there. Like every day, normal shit just makes you rage.
Yeah.
What you just said though, like how people should have noticed and like said something. At the same time, they should have like also like highlighted where like areas where you were strongest and like where can you go in the company or like where can you work in the organization that complements those strengths.
Well, that's a fantastic point about retail in general is that the hierarchy, the bottleneck is pretty tight and it happens pretty soon. You know, maybe if you're working at a giant department store, less so. But I mean, most people aren't. Most people are working in stores with 30 to 50 employees.
Yep.
And that only requires and gets 1 to 2 managers. So, you know, a few key holders, whatever the fuck they call them in that particular organization. They always got these bullshit names like team leaders.
Yeah.
Team leader. Ain't nobody leading shit. You know, you're punching the clock. Don't lie to me.
Punch on the clock. You're there to make sure the place doesn't burn down.
Exactly.
You're making 50 cents more to get woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning with the balloon strip, the goddamn motion sensors.
Oh my God.
And you gotta tell them to either fucking send the cops because you don't want to get out of bed.
Send the cops.
I left Party City. So when I left, I was the junior merch supervisor, which was an overglorified title for, hey, we're gonna make you do all the shipping and receiving, hire someone else from under your feet, and then you're gonna train them how to not only do that job but also use a computer.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, I forget where I was going with this. I just got real bitter there.
Got
bro.
mad all over
I saw
again.
that.
Yeah, that was
But,
some bullshit.
Where was it going? Where's it going with this?
Maybe you just want to reminisce a little bit.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, just to go. Hey, remember that time it was shitty?
You were
Yeah, that was
saying
shitty.
when you left, that's where you were.
Where I left. That's where.
Yeah.
when I left.
Like that was
You-
the position you had. I don't know.
Oh yeah, so I wound up leaving there. I was a junior merch suit. Wound up leaving, and it was like 3 months afterwards, and I get a phone call, and it's like
No.
fucking 2:30 in the morning.
No.
And it's whoever our security
Yeah,
provider
right.
was, right? Like, I'm like, oh, and they're like, hi, is this so and so? And I'm like, yep. And they're just like, oh, this is so and so from whatever. The alarm's going off. I just need to verify your identity. And I'm like, what? And we had to like give say all your shit and all that other stuff. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just confused as to why you're calling me. And they're like, oh, well, you're on the call list. I'm like, I haven't worked there for fucking 3 months. And they're like, oh, well, like we'll have them like, oh, okay, well, like you'll have to let them know that. I'm like, I thought it was clear when I left. But anyway,
That's
they're just
why
like,
is that your
they're
That's
like,
what
they're like-
quitting means.
They're like, well, what would you like us to do? And I'm like, well, fucking send the cops, because I like, what am I gonna do? Like, oh, just silence the alarm, it's fine, and then I'm on the hook for it, like,
Yeah.
after the fact.
Yeah.
So I wind up, they obviously send the cops. Everything's fine because the balloons would just move when the air would kick on and it tripped the motion sensor.
Fuck balloons. Bane of my existence. Don't ever buy a balloon.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. Like if you're gonna just fucking buy the thing to suck on the helium to pop your lungs, just do the world a favor and just pick a window and jump out of it.
Real rap.
But in any case, I wound up getting I don't remember if I called my former manager the next day or if she called me or whatever it was, because she wasn't happy that the cops got sent, because you only get that so many times a year before that you actually have to start paying for it.
Right.
So she's just like, oh, well, the next time that happens, just ask if there's broken glass. And I'm like, well, there shouldn't be a next time because I've asked them to take me off the call list because I haven't worked for you for 3 months. Radio
Fucking
silence.
hell.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. And would she just
What
hang up?
What? Like
or,
what? I was like, no, we had just like, oh, she's like, well, like, thanks for doing that and whatever. And I
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
and just so you know, I actually did get another call after that too.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't
Damn,
wake
I
up
didn't
for
know
it.
that.
I didn't wake up for it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Fuck that.
The definition of gross incompetence.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing, and this happens in every profession too, but like a good, like, I don't know, junior leader, subordinate leader, like a good second lieutenant can make a shitty captain look really good. And that, oh man, that just seems to be the story everywhere, right?
Wait, say that again. A good what?
Like an underling who's got some measure of authority, like
Yeah.
like Chuckie was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
junior merch supervisor,
Right,
whatever
right.
the fuck
Ooh,
bullshit.
Yeah, some bullshit title. Yeah.
And I was an assistant manager, but our manager was a fucking moron.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No. That does
But,
happen lots.
but we always got like glowing reviews and everything. It's like, she's not doing any of this.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
smoked 13 packs today, you know?
Oh
the
no.
Fucking smoke breaks.
Oh, I forgot about smoke breaks.
Honestly,
Yeah, sorry, Slick, you're not gonna like this.
No,
part.
that's okay. I
I-
love when I hear smoke break stories.
I don't even know if it's. I don't even know what the fucking the best way to fucking describe it is,
That is
except for like
okay.
it bullshit, unfair. Pick your fucking choice, but holy shit, were the smoke breaks where we worked prevalent? I swear to God, people took up smoking just to get out there.
That's probably
I fucking
true.
thought about it a time or 12. so.
Because there was nothing more fucking annoying than, particularly, again, I'll just kind of talk myself up a little bit myself, maybe taking an extra minute, maybe taking my time going out on the floor after I clocked in from my break, and then one of those fucking schmucks going, "What are you doing? Get on the floor." I'm sorry. Your smoke breaks are not a dart and you're in. It's a dart, you're talking. Oh, it's 20 minutes, better get back on the floor. Better do my job.
my fist
Hilarious.
flies here.
Oh,
And-
those kind of.
And then they
smoke
walk
breaks.
in, they see me talking to Fresh, maybe talking to Chuckie, maybe just playing with myself. What the fuck are you doing? Get on the fucking floor. Pardon me. Sorry. Oh, I'm having a smoke break. Oh, it's okay. No problem.
Yeah,
What the
why?
fuck?
Why
Yeah,
do
that's
we have to
bullshit.
cater to your bullshit fucking habit? This was not. You know, people want to go for a smoke on their break. Whatever, you live your life or
Yeah.
kill your life.
Or if
Whatever.
you get 15 minutes, like if you want to pop out and have a cig, cool. You
Yeah,
get a
go
15 minutes.
for it,
That's all,
baby.
yeah, whatever.
But-
you know, turn up, YOLO. But this is like an extra break that is societally accepted. Maybe less so nowadays, but
Definitely.
like back
Because
then
it's an
when we were
addiction.
talking, oh my god. So the fuck what?
I'm gonna be like,
I'm addicted to
that's
masturbation.
bullshit.
I can't spend my
I'm gonna
work
be like,
shift doing that.
Sorry, I'm addicted to silence, so I'm gonna take 15 minutes 5 to 10 times a day and sit in the back room by my fucking self. That's
As a smoker, I can say that is bullshit. It's an addiction. That's bullshit. Because I cannot smoke at work. I choose to smoke at work, but I know for a fact that I cannot smoke at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can go the day without smoking.
I literally do not give a fuck about your addiction, or I'm not talking use like
No.
I'm
I get
saying,
what you're saying. Yeah.
Like anybody's whatever. Are we at work or not?
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, and the fact that exception is made, like die slow.
You know what I do now?
Well, I guess that's what they're doing.
Well, you know what? The way I do my breaks is if I'm working by myself. Obviously, I'm in charge of my own thing. As long as I get what I'm doing done, it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
But if I'm working with somebody else, I'm like, yo, you mind if I do? And usually they're fine. Like if you ask, they're like, yeah, I don't care, because like my job's kind of like wherever. But man, yeah, there are people who literally are like they make that bad name for it.
Yeah, and they say like, "Oh, it's just a smoke break. It's just 5 minutes."
You know,
my ass.
You know, you said die slow, and that reminded me of something. So, I worked like 14 days straight there, and you know the schedules come, and I worked 14 days straight because I kept getting called because other people kept not showing up or
Right.
whatever it
And
may
the
be.
lenience on that, my
Oh
God.
my god, right? So, and the nepotism, depending as to who it was, and all that other
Right.
stuff. But so I worked like 14 days straight. She's doing the schedule. We're all in the office, and I will never forget it. She goes to do the schedule. Oh, I'm gonna have you here, and I can kind of see how you might not necessarily have seen it because you're only looking at this week. You forget about the fact that I've worked 7 days before, and now you're doing the Sunday to Saturday schedule, right? So
Right.
that's already fallen off. And I'm just like, oh, hey, so-and-so. I don't want to say the name. I'm like, that's actually me like day 15. I'm like, can we break it up a little bit? And she did this. You couldn't see that, but she basically did this huge wind up for an imaginary violin to play me a song.
Oh,
So I'm like, you know what? I'll work it. It's fine. That Sunday coming up was my day off. And I'm hanging out with him. I'm hanging out with Fresh. And I'm like, I don't give a flying fuck if St. Peter himself calls me. If that phone rings tomorrow, I'm not going in.
Right.
Like, sure as shit,
Yep.
my fucking phone rings. And it's this guy, and he's like, hey, he's like, so-and-so's in the bathroom. And the manager,
Oh, yeah.
So-and-so's in the bathroom, and she's not feeling good, and blah, 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 blah. Can you come in? I'm like, Mickey, I can't. I'm fucking busy.
Yeah, I remember.
Like, I need a break.
I called
so-
so many people.
So he called so many people and then wound up getting in touch with Fresh. And then Fresh wound up going in. And the reason why he had to go in, they crossed paths and she was getting fucking pulled out on a gurney because she was having a stroke. The kicker to that is that would be a sign for most people to wake up. But nope, the fish fillet, the Tim Hortons, and the pack of smokes for
Kept
lunch
going.
kept going every single goddamn day. And the one day we're in the office, this is like a week or two later, because now they've got her on a heart monitor to like monitor her like
is this
the heart rhythm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is
See,
a real
this
person.
This is
Like,
a real person. So we're sitting in the office and she's going off about something, and all of a sudden this fucking heart meter, it starts beeping, like, and it's going, right? And she's like, what the why is this fucking thing going off? And it's like, well, yeah, well, maybe you just slow down a bit there.
Yeah.
That was one of the worst fucking days of my life.
Oh,
I called
I had
you.
like 30 missed calls.
Yeah, well, because I called him and he gave me the big no. Again, whatever. I called the assistant manager, Wheels, right? No, what was it?
Fat Man.
Fat Man. And they were just like, "Oh no, at a hockey game, not coming in." And I kept trying to call you, Fresh, and you were not answering, and for a good reason, if I recall. And there's the manager, literally laying on the floor in the bathroom. I didn't know what the fuck to do.
why
So-
didn't you call 911,
well, no,
man?
No, he did.
At that
Oh,
point,
okay.
at that point, so
All
like,
right.
now I'm freaking out, and I kind of go into maybe leader mode. I point to one of the other coworkers and say, "Call 911. Manager on the floor. I'm just gonna sit with her until they show up." And I remember I kind of knocking on the bathroom door. I'm like, "Hey, are you okay?" And all I hear is just like moaning, like, "Oh, I'm like, oh fuck, this isn't good." So I grab my coat, wrap it around her, and just kind of like trying to keep her warm because she also tells me that she's cold. I'm going, "Oh, this isn't good." Usually when someone is on the floor and they're saying they're cold, usually the next part is they die. So I start freaking out, and then eventually Fresh shows up. Out she goes on the gurney, and I could calm down a little bit.
Right.
I would like to
man.
say that I was like, oh no, something happened to this poor woman with grandchildren, but instead I was just mad I was there.
Still alive?
And I don't know actually. I
No,
don't know.
I meant like you were mad that she was still alive.
Oh fuck. Look, I'm not saying I would wish death on someone,
No, I wouldn't wish death on her. I just wouldn't wish any good either.
but if
Oh my god!
Jesus Christ.
Oh, heartless.
Like, you know, and I'm saying, I'm just joking. Like, she's the type of person that you would want to have, you know, like, and I've said this a billion times. She's cool to talk, like, just kind of shoot the shit over
False.
a glass of wine.
False.
I didn't mind. Like, I could sit with her and have a glass of wine, and that'd be about it. But I would never want to work for her ever again.
All I'm saying is I thought there was going to be a period where we medically got rid of her. Not died or anything, but just like, oh, you literally can't do this. And I was very, very happy about that for like 4 hours.
Yeah, and she showed up the next fucking day.
Man,
I don't know when she showed up.
that kind of happened to me. I remember like after I was done ushering.
Yeah.
It's kind of like customer service, whatever.
Yeah.
I was doing like I supervised the back of the house there, right? Like so all the like the basement where all the players came in.
Oh,
like
okay,
I was on the table making sure everyone had their passes and whatever that bullshit was. And one day the floor guy who does like the concourse, he didn't come in, so I had to go up and do it. And of course that day, my first day supervising the concourse, some dude just drops a heart attack right in front of me and my other buddy
Oh fuck!
who listens to the podcast, yo. He knows who this is.
Holla, holla.
He knows who he is with this story, and I'm just freaking out. I'm like, what the fuck do we do? And like, we had to create the perimeter, right? And like,
Yeah.
you know, call 911. We had to make way for everyone's like crowding around. There's like 6,000 people at a hockey game.
Yeah.
So like, and it's during the intermission, right? Oh, dude,
course
it
it
was
is.
fucking terrifying.
So
I
you're
get it, man.
You're highlighting something not directly, but like a massive aspect of these minimum wage or nearly jobs is that people don't get any kind of serious training. Like when I'll give you an example because you know party supplies is one thing. You know what the fuck could you possibly learn about plates and cups and balloons and shit? Well, I mean,
Well, except for the fact that helium, if there's a helium shortage, the military and the hospitals actually have
Medical,
first
yeah.
access to it. So that's all I learned from Party City.
And
we
wow.
ate so much shit on those helium shortages. This is
Oh
what people
my
don't know. So
God.
helium's a limited resource; has to get mined out of the ground,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And sometimes there's a scarcity of it, and we probably shouldn't be putting this in fucking balloons to just float away. You know, maybe make a poster or something that you can recycle. I don't know. Whatever. Eco rant time. But these people would lose their shit about us not having helium, and it's like, bro, like. You don't understand anything about what you're mad about. It's not even possible for us to do this. There's no way for me to appease you right now except to like maybe point you somewhere else. Oh, well, they're more expensive.
that sounds like a you problem.
Then go mine it, man. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
And we actually had one time a self-professed educator told us, "Well, you can just make it."
No.
Oh yeah, she was a teacher.
No.
She's like, "You can make it." I'm like, "No, you fucking can't."
But
Oh my
what,
God, why are
like
you
a
teaching-
kindergarten teacher? She's teaching kids to color in the lines and use safety scissors
Then
and shit?
I hope that was the fact, but she just said she was an educator, and I just kind of stopped listening.
Yeah,
after
so is a
that.
gym teacher, but I mean, like,
Ooh.
I'm just joking to gym teachers out there.
I'm not.
Well, think
Are
of it
you
though.
though?
Like gym teachers, get paid the exact same, and they're teaching gym. I think they're the smarter ones, or anything.
I saw that recently.
That's
Yeah,
all-
that was,
saw-
that
where
was
did
a-
I see that?
That was a meme. That was
See,
not
I saw-
original
No,
content.
it's not, I was not gonna own that, but I saw that. I was going, huh? I guess you're right.
True.
I mean,
true.
yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry I did that, Mickey, because I hate when
No,
I hate when people like call me out when I like recycle a meme or something.
No, by all means.
But-
It was great.
All we do is call shit out here.
It's,
Called
No,
it's
hold
like
on,
when
hold on.
you send a meme and then that person's like, "Oh, I already seen that." That's the fucking meanest thing. That's the meanest
Oh, I
thing
do that
you
all
can
the
say.
time.
Just say,
I do that
"Ha-ha."
all the time.
Oh, that's great.
Like even if you've seen it, you just have to acknowledge that. Like, oh, that was fucking hilarious. But thanks. Sorry, you're saying. Cheers.
Well, I just wanted to talk about the lack of training for shit like this, right? So anyway, I'm working at Canadian Tire. I start there, and what I don't realize when I start at Canadian Tire, I was in hardware, housewares, and tools. They kind of like you can cover multiple departments. You get assigned each day. So housewares is one thing. Here's a microwave. How many watts it got? All right, cool. Hardware is a little bit different. There's base levels of knowledge for building and things. You know, it's not Home Depot, but it was something. And then tools is fucking tools. Well, I'm 17. I don't know anything about any of this shit at this point.
Yeah.
And like the demands of customers were very reasonably pretty rigorous in each field. So I actually learned a lot about like plumbing and electrical from those customers who would tell me, you know, oh, this is what this is for. But when they would come in and be like, yo, man, I need this wire. I got to hook this up. And I'd be like, the wire's over there. They'll be like, you can't tell me anything? I'd be like, nope. And that's a joke. That's a fucking joke. I shouldn't be able to be working there if I cannot do that job.
Right.
But you're not. You're just a minimum wage grunt.
Yo,
That's where I got to shout out one company is the fucking LCBO.
yeah, they
Is
know
you
what's
get
up.
you get real proper product training. Even if you don't drink, then they'll get you as far as you can go. Like LCBO is pretty legit for training.
That's good.
The last clothing store that I worked for, that was like probably my favorite company that I've worked for. And that's the one thing I'll say is like we would get like product knowledge sheets that would be sent out when I started doing like when I used to start when I went around the province like training other teams and stuff. I actually got invited to go to the manager meetings where you'd get to meet all the vendors like face to face and you know meet all the reps and stuff. And the interaction that they would actually incorporate into those meetings, like one of the companies that we worked with was a company called Second Yoga. They make actual denim, but you can do yoga in them.
Okay.
So the couple of years that I actually went there, I didn't because they only made them for girls at the time. I don't know if they branched out and making guys jeans yet, but 2 years back to back, the first year all the girls got to like put these jeans on, and they had yoga instructors come in, and they would actually like do yoga, and they would explain like how they actually make these jeans and like why they cost so much because they're all made here in Canada, like blah
Right.
blah 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 blah
Right.
blah.
That's dope. And you can pass that along to the
And
customer.
you can pass that on, and that's the important stuff because when people are asking you like, well, why do these jeans cost $148? And it's like, okay, well, like let me tell you why, because those things are designed and cut here in Canada. And then that same pair of jeans, they can't get that dye here, so they have to red eye that shipment to California, have them dye it there, and then red eye it back, so that way we can actually get it for our shipments and stuff like that.
Wow.
So it's, but when you know all that and you're able to showcase that to people like that, you know, it softens them like, oh, okay, well that kind of makes more sense.
Yeah, you can see where the money.
People don't know
Is,
what
right?
they don't know unless you educate them, and you know you can't educate someone if you're not being trained properly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot. I worked at Rona. I totally forgot. I worked at Rona.
Oh, you did work at Rona
I worked
too.
at
That's
Rona
right.
for like
There we
4 or
fucking go.
5 months or something like that. I was the cart guy though.
Brief stint.
Yeah, my brief stint at a hardware store, and so
Do you hate when people leave the carts out in the?
no, I loved it because it gave me something to
Okay.
do that didn't require me talking to customers because I knew nothing. Like this was like, I was like 22, maybe 21,
Okay.
and I was just drunk all the time. Like I mean,
At
probably
work?
even probably
Oh.
not intentionally, but just from the night before, right? You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Just for a couple hours and then just hungover. Anyway, like people would ask me, I'd go and bring the lumber cars to the lumber section, and they would be like, "Oh, how much is this? Or can you cut this?" And I'm like, "No, I can't do any of this. They didn't show me how to do anything. I was supposed to have computer training on product. I never got it, and I was there for 5 months. It was ridiculous, dude. And people would hide, like the people who worked the sections.
Yeah.
I knew them, like from one from high school and then one just mutual friend, and they would hide in the desk. They would sit down so customers couldn't see them, and they'd
Oh
sit
my
in this
God.
like little cubby, and so it would just be me, and I know nothing, and people would start getting mad, man.
Sure.
They'd start getting mad, like I couldn't cut keys,
Right.
so like, why do you even work here? I'm like,
Well,
like,
and
I
That is
collect
a very
cards.
good question.
Like that's a great question. I wish I
Does
could.
I
tell
need
you.
beer money, dog?
Yeah, like I'm gonna go spend this entire paycheck tonight.
And one thing I always hate about that when they hired you literally with no training, but they expected so much.
This is what happened. They hooked me up with an account. They gave me all the information, and they told me to go on this computer. So I went and I tried to log in, and it wouldn't let me log in. So I tried like 5 times, and I told my manager, and like, we'll fix that. Never went to a computer again after that. Never. It was fucked up, man. And then Rona went out of business and went there. So.
You know what's whack is a lot of these companies, they be foisting that, they call it e-learning most places, that kind of shit on you like it's your responsibility. Like, bitch, I better be getting paid for this.
Yeah.
Like, this is what back in the old days before the internet they used to call training.
Yeah.
You know? Fuck.
Just because you brought up training, you said, Mickey, you said something earlier about your first interaction on the floor at Green Earth.
Yeah.
Where he was stalking?
Where I got totally chewed out by someone looked like fucking Gollum.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
What was your manager's response to that?
What did you do wrong?
Cool. So that's something. That's something that. That. When you said that, it was reminding me of. One of the things I didn't like about retail was the importance on performance. I've worked in a performance-based environment for as long as I can remember, probably since like 2009. So that's when I got my first retail job.
What do you mean when you say performance?
When I say performance-based, I mean like you have targets and stuff that you have to hit. Like you either have a volume goal that you have to hit. You have other KPIs.
Yep.
KPIs are key performance indicators. Like
Okay.
So
We had sales quotas we had to meet with nothing to be given back. Just like, oh, you hit it. Okay, good. You did your job.
Yep.
Do it tomorrow.
Yep. You know, like
Yeah.
when I look at all the even PP and PC, like they also had we had UPT, which is units per transaction, and your average dollar per sale, which I think they called DPT. Bunch of different acronyms, but
How do you remember? I don't even remember this shit, dog.
oh man, this is like
You loved
this is
it.
all
You
second
loved
nature.
it.
I kind of little
You
bit.
fucking loved it.
A little bit. So
I'm getting half a chub hearing about it. I like this.
like I always did really well in sales, like in clothing. So I went for fuck it. I'm just gonna start dropping names because I'm tired of this shit. So I worked for Guess for a while, for like 3 years,
Yep.
and then I moved over to a company. They're no longer around. They folded about a year or two ago. But my favorite company that I worked for was Gene Machine, and I had a hard transition going from Guess to Gene Machine because Guess, the name itself, sold it. So we always had foot traffic all the time. Our store, like when I went over to Gene Machine, we would turn the same numbers yearly that Guess would, and they were a far bigger store. They had a bigger back room, all that stuff. But it was like old school hustling. Like you had to, you'd get people in, you'd have to talk them into, like, first of all, you're working with lower traffic than the other place,
Sure.
100%. You had to talk people into, trying these jeans on. I always did really well, but it didn't start out that way. They almost pipped me out, and they because I wasn't performing there. And then finally, I just hit the fuck it button, and I'm like, you know what? Nothing I'm doing is good enough. I'm just gonna come in. I'm just gonna talk to people. And I think the key to my success was, I don't know if it was like not giving a shit or what, but it was we had 4 steps there. It was step 1 was the non-business like approach. Step 2 was like starting a fitting room. Step 3 was adding on at the fitting room, and then step 4 was capturing client information, customer information, and processing the transaction. Any add-ons you can get at the front at the cash wrap. So
Do you still work there, bro?
right, I
man.
lived and breathed this for a long time, and one of the things that I wish I knew then that I know now is as to how much more impactful it is to coach behaviors as opposed to coaching to numbers. Because we get these companies get really caught up in, like you said, like head office, they don't know. They look at a computer, they see the hourly reports coming in, or they're calling you to get those updates while you've got you've got customers lined up to the door or whatever, and all they see are numbers, but they don't see the effort that's going in on the floor.
Sure.
So you've got a manager. That's that's a textbook example. It's like, what'd you do wrong?
Mm-hmm.
So I like to think that maybe he or she didn't mean to be like, hey, what did you do wrong? But like, what could you have done better, or what could you have done differently, or what? The thing that I realized, and I think maybe it was why I was successful as a manager, was that I'd strip it down and be like, okay, so what does this person do well? Like, this person has a good personality. Like, why aren't they converting at the fitting room? Like, why aren't they getting people in? Why aren't they getting them processed out? And sometimes you got to strip it down to just the approach, like how you have a conversation with someone.
Sure. Absolutely.
If I walk in
Absolutely.
somewhere, it's like, hey, what are you looking for today? I am so fucking turned off to this conversation right now. My eyes have rolled so far back into my head. I'm looking for the exit. So yeah, I feel like it's more important to coach behaviors, and a lot of it comes down to, I think, a feedback model, because a lot of people don't give constructive feedback. It's all criticism.
Yeah.
Or
That's very good.
Like I don't like the compliment sandwich, because you hit them with like, hey, you do this really well. You need to improve on this, but you do this really well. Mm-hmm. You've just hit them. Like at this point, this person's like, oh, 66%. That's not bad, right?
Right.
So when you're putting the area of opportunity in between two things that they're doing really well, lose the impact is what they need to improve on.
The best managers or bosses or whatever I ever had didn't ever approach it from a critical perspective, and it was critical.
Yep.
But they didn't say it like that, and it would just be like, all right, so we're gonna teach you how to do X. And that's a shit that works, because you're first of all, you're approaching the real key. The key to all of this fucking shit is respect.
100%.
So if you approach someone with respect, that's one thing, and they're automatically more receptive already. If I had been my 15-year-old self working at Zayre's in Essex, and people actually talk to me like a fucking human instead of a little knob stacking bananas, which I was, but still, then that could have changed everything from my trajectory. I'm not saying I would have rose up in the ranks of Loblaws or anything like that.
Right.
But, it might have been better for me personally. But for years and years and years and years and years, I was just a cog. And what you said, Chuckie, about less disciplinary, basically, is what you're getting at. That's all it was. So, you come in, you get a minimal amount of training, and then all that you ever hear is, well, you did this wrong.
Yeah.
And I understand that. That's a very old school mentality. Like, otherwise you're just doing what you're supposed to do. Okay, fine. Maybe that's even true, but it doesn't work.
Yep.
You got to understand people better than that. And that's where I've taken some of those leadership lessons, and I'm not really in a leadership position at all anymore, but I have that stash away for personal interactions. Like, here's how you help someone respond to you better. And again, it's not even about right or wrong. It's like, how do you progress the situation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so crucial.
I think one of the foundations, though, for training and development for people, and I know I said this earlier, but like it's a feedback model. Like if you don't know how to, it's not even so much giving feedback. You need to know how to receive feedback before you can give feedback. You ever like this? What is it? The 7 stages of grief or whatever.
Sure.
Or however, yeah.
Yeah.
So like someone passes away, and you're immediately pissed off. Then you go through these different stages before you hit
Right.
acceptance. Giving and receiving feedback is very much the same. When you go in, when someone tells you like, hey, you need to do this better, or whatever, you immediately, like, anytime that someone, I think for most people, anytime that they're immediately hit with constructive feedback, they're immediately pissed off, because you've just pointed out something that they do wrong.
Oh yeah.
You need to get past that and get to the acceptance part, and everything in between, I like to call bargaining. That's what we called it at one of the companies, and that's stuck with me this entire time. So the sooner someone has hit you with feedback, and the sooner you can get to acceptance, you're just going to be a better person for it.
Yeah.
But you need to actually know, like, A, how to receive it, also how to give it, because just giving feedback isn't just telling people what they need to improve on for the sake of telling them. Like, it needs to come from a good place, that you're there to, like, help them, and you want to see them grow, and you need to kind of showcase that to them. And the model that was taught to me when I went on a conference was it was called the OIS method. OIS is an acronym for observation, impact, and suggestion. So it's role play. Like, I'll make it up. So one company that I worked at, we had this overhead ringer. So if you called the main line and no one was at the front desk, it would ring to the overhead speaker, and then someone in the pit would actually have to answer the phone and talk to that person. So that's fine. But when it's the same person always picking up the phone, it takes you out of your rhythm. And when you get taken out of your rhythm, it takes you 20 minutes to dial back in to get to that optimal level that you were at.
Yes.
So
this is why I hated sales, because you're always being pulled.
Always being pulled in other directions. It's very inefficient. So the one guy that sat across from me, I'd watch him. He wouldn't even be on the phone. He'd just be like reading what was on his computer. And I finally pulled him aside. I'm like, hey, so-and-so. I'm like, can I give you some feedback? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, so the overhead ringer's gone 3 times, and I'm the only one that's picked it up, and I'm also busy. I'm like, so you're impacting me because I can't dial back in. I'm like, so just moving forward, can you just be a little bit more cognizant? So like, I did it this time. Can you pick up the next one? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sure thing, man. And it was totally fine. But if you give it to them where you're coming from a good place, you're pointing out as to what they're don't fucking pussyfoot around on it. Don't be like, I kind of noticed. No, be direct. Be like, hey,
Yeah.
so the overhead ringer's gone 3 times, and I'm the only one picking up the phone. Like, it's impacting me this way, blah, 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 blah. Like, you need to break it down but it's
Yeah.
got to be respectful. It's got to come from a good place.
You make a really good point there, Chuckie. And one thing that you did, and you didn't say you did it, but is you said the why.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
changed everything for me. If someone would tell me this is why we do this like this, oh my god. Oh, okay. Yeah,
It's-
of course. But when you just tell people shit for no fucking reason at all. Like right now we're going through a few changes at work and they're not telling anybody why they're being done. So I'm hearing, like, luckily, as I've mentioned before, I pretty much work alone and I love it. But there's this other area of the place I work and they are the workers are very unhappy with a couple of changes, right? But they're good changes and they make good sense and they should be done. But they don't see any of that. They just see, oh, here's another thing you have to do before you can get on with it. But the bosses aren't being like, all right, here's why this, here's why this, here's why this. So all in all, it makes it this, and here's how you proceed with it. They're going, do your fucking job. Well, that's fucking shit. That's terrible leadership.
I think the most powerful question is why.
Yeah.
And we used to use the expression like, you got to seek to understand. So you might not necessarily know why someone acted the way they did or why they're implementing that until you actually be like, hey, so like, why are we doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, like once you know the reason behind it, it changes your outlook and changes your perspective on it. So
Oh, we got a question here.
Why isn't this man not doing leadership conferences?
No,
Right?
seriously,
For real.
seriously,
No,
dude.
legit,
Like you have
legit,
learned a lot of
legit.
useful things.
For sure.
and I learned a lot of it. I learned a lot of it from retail. When I got out of retail and I went into recruiting, that's where I learned about like feedback and the importance of giving and receiving and all that other fun stuff.
Yep.
Those are fun things.
Those are fun things. But like I said, I was a good manager back then. I like to think anyway because I still have really good relationships with a lot of people that I worked with. But at the same time, I wish I knew what I knew now then, just so I could have
Right.
applied it, and I feel
Of
like I would have
course.
been that much more impactful on people.
I dig the behavior or the personality. Like you got to play to
Yeah.
people's strengths.
Yeah.
Like when
Absolutely.
when I would deliver, and I had, the trusty old partner there for 4 years,
Oh,
right?
fuck.
Right? I picture this guy is the clumsiest man you've ever met. And you're going on construction sites with decently heavy equipment,
And he can't tie his boots.
and he can't tie his boots, and he's a
Oh,
gem.
crying out
But
loud.
so imagine this guy trying to, Mitchie, I got it, and he wants to just manhandle this furnace downstairs or whatever heavy thing we're carrying, because we carried a bunch of heavy
Yeah.
things, right? And I would just look at him and be like, no. I'm like, here's why, and here's why I'm gonna do it always when you're with me.
Yeah.
It's like, because you're gonna fall, and I'm not doing that. We're not doing it. I'm more agile. You're fragile.
I remember that. I remember
was
that.
the
Yeah.
thing, and it stuck with them.
Sure.
And I'm like, you just keep going on the little stuff. You get all that little stuff out. I'll worry about the big stuff. The expensive stuff. We'll just and
Play
we'll
your
work like that.
strengths.
And it worked really well. And
awesome.
every day he'd say, "You're getting that because you're agile and I'm fragile." But it was. He's like, I had to play off his strength, which is like he just talk to people and just be good
Sure.
at unloading little things.
Wasting
And
time is what
wasting
you're looking
time.
for.
But it was fun. I did have a lot of fun with him.
It was a hoot, and he's a good dude.
And VIP, did you have another thing to
Yeah.
add?
Sorry guys.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say the due diligence of the leader saying why, but then I also feel like it's the due diligence of the employee to ask why sometimes.
Yeah, it's like an empowerment thing too.
Like,
Right.
I mean, there's times like when I'm working and say my brother will tell me something, I won't understand it, and we're like, well, why are we doing it this way, and why aren't we doing it that way?
Mhm.
Like, can you give me this this site, and so then I can figure it out and then move forward, because I think it's just really good. Your leadership, and that's great.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and if there's a specific step to something that you don't understand, then that why can
That's the make or break.
not just clarify, but also make it possible. Like maybe someone's not asking why to be a petulant twat. Did you ever think of that?
Yeah.
Nameless manager out there. Maybe they're asking why because they need to know to do their fucking job.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I've had this I don't want to say moral high ground, but I've always had this like idea where
You really shouldn't say moral high ground.
I've always kind of had this philosophy where if I can't, how do I word this? If I can't ask why, or I can't, get the answers I need from the proper leadership, then that's probably a company that I don't want to work for.
Yeah, that's fair.
When I worked at Gene Machine, I really do miss that company. It was a good company, but I remember when I first started there, I got hired as an assistant. I had 2 shifts, I think. Like I got to see an open, I got to see it close, and that was it. And then it was like, here's your keys, boom, and I got like thrown into it. The system we used, just a little background story, but we didn't our return policy was 90 days exchange or store credit. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So the way our system was set up, when you would go to process a return, you would have to load the gift card with however much money was on it. But there was a step where you actually had to type in like the number on the back of the card, so that way it knew to load it. Well, I accidentally loaded the card for the pin that was on the back, so I fucking loaded this card for $1,000 or whatever. Nice. And it's like 8:00 on a fucking like Tuesday night or whatever it is. I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Like, I've called the co-manager who I was actually being groomed to take her spot when she left because they knew she was leaving. My manager was out, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, the last number, I'm like, do I call my DM? I'm like, this is my 3rd shift. I'm like, I don't want to seem incompetent. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm like, if I can't ask this person for help, then why am I here? Yeah. And I called her, and she's just like, oh my god. She's like, if you think that's the first time this has ever happened, like, get out of here.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so how do I fix it? She's like, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna take that card. I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you're not gonna lose it. And it was like, I'm like, okay, and because she didn't even know how to fix it, so we had to call someone the next day. But you know what? That was like a learning curve for me.
Yeah.
That the amount of times that I trained people, I would try to get out in front of that 8 ball, because people that wanted like getting into these like key holder positions or assistant positions and stuff like that, they would come across us and they would call me. And then that was just standard practice when I was training. So I'm like, if this ever happens, this is what you do.
Right.
Cool. So
I
actually left there. I left there to go to this office job, my first recruiting position. And I happened to go in just to say hi to everyone. And the person that was actually behind, they had just made her like a supervisor, and she didn't know how to process returns.
Yeah.
So I'd been gone for like 2 months, and I just walked in behind. I'm like, yeah, that's how we do it. And like just jumped in. My code still worked and everything. So I hadn't taken it out.
That's probably not good.
Fucking great. So
Man, speaking of where I used to work,
Yeah.
my code is still in there.
No shit. You haven't been there for like 10 years?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, that's faulty
I checked
management.
it out the other day when I was there.
That's scary.
fuck. Nikki, what is
Slick,
this?
what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just gonna. He made me think of the time when I was training you, and that incident occurred, and I looked at you and I said, "This is what you don't do." Remember when I hit the fire stairs?
Yeah, why, dude? Tell the story.
it
Don't
was
say
fucking
that
hilarious.
incident occurred.
So I'm training fresh, and we're in the truck, and I go to
Big
a
old
shop.
cube van.
Big old cube, biggest cube you could get, I think, on the with the biggest cube.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was just big, and we're cruising, and I'm just cruising. It's a good day.
I gotta pause you right here.
Yeah.
Because you changed my philosophy on driving. Not just driving there or driving big work trucks or anything, but you literally changed my philosophy on driving because you said something one of my first days. I'd never seen somebody check mirrors this much, and I thought it was kind of weird, right? And you said, dude, I'm basically driving a tank. I could kill everyone on this road right now. You have to be careful with this
It's
shit.
true.
And I was like, fuck. And then I always watched you how you drove, and like it literally changed how I drive my car.
Oh, that's good.
You know, it was very positive. And so I was like, oh man, Slick has got this shit. This is a driver. This dude knows. So we're in this big old cube van.
And I'm driving.
And
I'm
Slick
training.
is driving.
and we're just talking, and there was a shop we used to go to, and you have to go between like two sea cans and some really like ghetto fire stairs.
Sure.
Like just
On the
sketchy
side of a
on the
building.
side of a building that
Yeah.
it's like very very narrow. And I was going at a good speed because I was having a good day, and I've done this a lot. I've gone around this building a million times, man. Like I go there every day, and all of a sudden, like we're just cruising, and the truck just stops, and you hear this like
this grating.
like the worst noise ever, and I just immediately like hit the brakes, right? And I throw it in park and shut it down. I'm like, I looked at Fresh, I'm like, this is what you don't do when you come to said shop. And we look out, and like the platform, the top platform of the fire stairs is just in the top of the cube, and just like sliced a bit of it. Yeah.
You know what was worse
That
than
was
the
fun.
noise you made when you drove into it? When you pulled out
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
that's gross. It almost makes you want to throw up.
Fiberglass, eh?
No.
All right. Well, retail is this weird beast of like human interaction, but it might be going away. You know, what with Amazon and all these things. So what do you guys think about that? You think these kind of interactions are going to exist in the future?
I think there has to be, to some degree, a level of retail worker, because people are going to ask questions, and they can't just go in and buy shit all the time with no knowledge of it. Like someone's going to get hurt, bad, probably die, and everyone's going to scratch their heads.
Jesus.
Well, no, but seriously, and they're going to scratch their heads like, oh, well, why did they die? I have no fucking idea.
Because the robot killed him.
Well, for me, working in supplements, I could literally sell something that could kill somebody. I have stuff that will thin your blood. You're on blood thinners? Well, baby, don't touch that. I have stuff that can mess with, if you have a heart palpitation, don't fucking touch it. Like, I literally, I kind of have to know a little bit what's going on in their life before I even sell them anything.
You know what's so fucking scary about that is you have zero qualifications.
No, and absolutely right. Now, I work in an area where, again, I could probably kill somebody, and I'm getting paid minimum wage, and I have no qualifications for it, except, like just being there.
Years of doing it.
Yeah, which again, still, as far as I'm concerned, and I'll be not the first or the last to say it, that's not fucking good enough. Because I've turned people away, because I'm like, I don't fucking know. You need to go talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
You need to go see a naturopath or something. Like, you need to talk to somebody else who's qualified to answer these questions. And I love it because people come in and go, oh, it's natural, right? It's not going to hurt me. Poison ivy's natural. You want to go chew on some of that shit?
Nope.
No.
Oh, let's not talk about
No,
poison
but
ivy.
let's not do that.
And if we have time, maybe I'll do. I have a little rant that I wrote down, but because we keep saying that we don't have any training, but yet at the end of it, we all have walked away with a wealth of fucking knowledge.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Like a stupid amount, like how to almost talk to people, how to
Talk to people, not actually do it.
not really talk, just but get through nonsense, get through bullshit, work a computer and shit like that. I kind of went like on a huge rant. I was like, fucking, like you know all this stuff and how to be, and it's like, and then if let's just say we're all 25 again, but we worked at a retail, and we want to go find another job, minimum wage again, just because they can. And yet we are so almost overqualified in a retail position.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, that's part of the kind of what Chuckie was saying earlier, how people put no esteem on retail positions.
Yeah.
Like you aren't really a qualified worker at all.
But everyone expects you to be amazing.
Yeah.
Bingo.
You know, one of the things I've learned. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to
my
cut you
bad.
off.
Pay
No, no,
shit,
go
you
ahead.
get shit. It's,
That's so true. You pay shit, you get shit.
That's exactly what it is.
Absolutely.
People want to be valued.
One of the things that I've really learned about recruiting is like, I hate when someone says, you have a job description, find me this person. I'm not working on this until I know what I'm looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I can look at a job description that says, you need 3 years of experience in this environment, and you need to have a degree, and you have to blah, 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 blah. But there are a lot of soft skills that are not mentioned in these job descriptions, such as like what the...
Well,
Yep.
That's all this that I wrote down.
Is that all that there?
Yeah. Okay, hold
Yeah,
on.
sounds good.
Let's let Mickey say his rant because I wanna know what this rant
Okay,
is.
go
Oh,
on.
he's so excited. Look at this guy.
That was a great point though,
Christmas.
Chuckie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we are expected to clean, stock, front face, product knowledge, price, sales, promotions, etc., computer skills, multitasking with customers.
Work your fucking holidays away.
Deal with customer needs, complaints, questions. You need to have a bubbly personality, good communication skills, upselling, unwavering, stoic, but with a little bit of charm. Leave your shit at home. Open availability. Willing to work nights, weekends, overtime a lot. Did I miss anything? Oh, wait, I did. Wear a uniform. That's a must. Oh, comes out of your first paycheck. Non-slip shoes. Again, you buy. No hats, visible tattoos, dangling jewelry, visible facial piercings, body piercings. Shorts, long sleeves, brown, black, or tan pants, black shoes, closed toes, etc. Don't talk back. 1 30-minute break, 2 15s. But if we need you on the floor, you must be ready. No standing near clock out before it's time but be standing there before your shift starts and before your break is over. Time off 2 weeks in advance. Get someone to cover your shift. Be there 10 to 15 minutes early. No food, drink, phone, etc. on the floor. Don't talk amongst yourselves. Keep personal visits to a minimum. No offensive clothing. No calling in sick without a doctor's note. And call with enough time for us to cover your shift. Or have someone ready before you know you were sick. If you have time to lean, you have time to clean. And at least one person on the floor at all times. Empty your bag pockets for inspection before you leave. And for the love of God, no matter what, thank the customer on the way out.
My boy! Woo! Snapping.
Okay,
Wow.
Your thing about like no standing at the clock before it's time to punch out, but you need to be standing there before it's time to punch in.
Yeah.
That I have been salaried for so long that I don't even remember the last time I was paid overtime.
Dude, do you remember the Chris Rock bit where he's talking about how shitty it is to get a half-hour lunch?
Oh my god, I think about that all the time.
All the fucking... It is garbage. How you gonna give somebody a half-hour lunch?
I'm gonna stand in line for a half hour just to get my lunch.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Mickey, you know what you should do? You know who would love that, or who will love that, I hope, is Benny. Because that sounded like a poem, goddammit.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, you should
I'll
think
send it to
about
him.
that,
Okay.
man.
Snaps.
You should, it's
I wanna-
great.
All right.
I just want to
That
say
was
one thing about the whole that whole segue I was going to make into salary. But my dad had this expression, and I think about it all the time about how a lot of companies, they don't care when you are there, they only care when you're not. So as a salaried employee, like, get in at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, whatever it is, and I work until 7 o'clock at night some days, 8, 9 o'clock. Not this company that I work for, previous company. Like I would put in hours till like 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Other recruiters would drive by, see my car still in the parking lot, but so help me Christ, if I showed up 1 minute late, and it's like I give you 10 to 20 hours a week for free, plus all the stress and worry and stuff on top of that, like outside of my normal working hours.
That's a point that Slick's made a lot, is that people will be happy, so happy to take whatever you give. And it's that expression, the man who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does, or something like that. And it's supposed to be essentially like, work hard and you'll get yours. That is bullshit.
Yeah, that's the illusion of everyone.
It's the illusion
keep
of
reaching.
capitalism.
That's the joke
exactly,
of capitalism.
That's it.
It's absolute nonsense, and it's so true. Like, people will, you were the one who first told me the phrase "takers," and I think about that all the time. Like,
what?
Like people who will just take whatever you give them.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's tons of those.
Absolutely,
Everywhere.
but in an employment perspective, it's what
VIP
snapping over
Yeah,
there.
VIP goes to snap.
Yeah.
I heard something that was really interesting to me.
What's that?
So people who can do repetitious jobs usually have a lower IQ and will just take whatever you give them. And then the ones who have a higher IQ can't do repetitious jobs and want to do more things and want to be paid a higher salary.
Okay.
It was a really interesting thing, and I might actually I'm starting to think that it's true.
Yeah.
Like 100% after like working in a business with my brothers and moving forward like that, because we had somebody who just wanted to be paid and that's it. Didn't
Oh,
care
really,
what they
eh?
were doing.
I mean, I'll be happy to accept this theory because it means that I have a higher IQ, so that's
Me
cool.
too, right?
Yeah. No, but like as far as employers being takers, it's just, but there's no flip side of that coin. No. There's no forgiveness when, oh shit, man, sorry, I'm running late or whatever. I shouldn't say that, generally speaking. In the bad cases, they will be happy to take advantage of you as gratuitously as possible.
Yeah.
And when you need a little bit of help or whatever the fuck it might be, sucks to suck.
Yeah. Why aren't you in my position? Oh, it's because I won't move from this position. Go fuck yourself. Oh, okay, great, thanks.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, that might not be a retail thing so much. It's just a bigger companies or a shitty managers, leaders, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, those are out there.
Definitely wouldn't call them leaders.
Fair enough, my friend. Fair enough. All right, fellas. Well, we're going to wrap this one up for now. This has been a lively and engaging discussion.
I actually just wanted to touch on one thing, though, because we were kind of talking about the future of retail.
Oh, yeah.
And how, there's always got to be kind of like a human element.
Yeah.
So I see brick and mortar going by the wayside.
Totally.
We're already seeing that.
You think it's going to totally go?
I don't think it's going to totally go. I think there's going to be still a market for people that want to go and touch and feel stuff before they go and they buy it. Because I think the evolution of e-commerce over the last 10 years has been kind of crazy. Like, one of the things that I would be really apprehensive is, like, I've always been a slim guy. Like, there's certain clothes that I just cannot wear because they just don't fit my body style. Or
You have not always been a slim guy.
Ooh. I had a brief moment where I got a little dad bodish. more than a little dad bodish, but hey, you know what? I got a dog. I got the dad jokes. I'm a single parent, so I could rock it. But no, I think that
Just shake his head.
No.
like, even 5 years ago, like, I wouldn't want to buy stuff online because it's like, well, fuck, what if it doesn't fit? Because back then, like, a lot of companies, if you wanted to return it, you had to pay for shipping back. It's like, fuck you, I've already paid for shipping to get it here.
Yep.
I gotta pay it back because I bought the wrong thing. Like, so
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be an element where people are going to want to go and touch and try things on before they buy them. But what I see is, like, our IKEA store that we had, it was kind of like the pickup drop off location.
Yeah, I didn't really get that.
Yeah, I could see there being some of that, maybe. I don't
Okay.
know. Like maybe more pop-up stores like that. I think it's going to be interesting to see as to what happens with the retail workforce. You might not necessarily have, like, your stylists and your sales associates and all that other shit. But I think there's going to be a growth in another sector in terms of, like, who's going to be manning the call centers, who's going to be fixing the robots on the material
Right.
handling machinery. Like, there's
An exchange almost.
there's going to be, I think there's going to be a shift in, like, the workforce and,
I think can I go on this? This is just what I think. I think it's gonna get, maybe this is what I hope. I should say hope. It just gets rid of all the big box stores. Like, all the big box stores is just online shit, right? Like, you can go pick up, like you were saying.
but the big boxes will be online.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, get rid of them, and then brick and mortar, though.
Yep.
I think will come back retail for, like, more mom and pop handmade or just, like, good shit, good quality shit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, and you know what? And it's even from a profitability standpoint, like, obviously you're not paying all the overhead for your rent and all that other shit. But you hit a point where, like, you just because a company is opening another store doesn't mean that they're going to be more profitable. There's a lot of overhead that's assumed on the front end, and you get to a point, like, and I learned this when I worked for JM, but you get to a point where you have so many stores open, but you can't see any growth past that until you open. I'll make it up. Like, if you want to see, like, positive growth and you've got 30 stores, you might need to open up 10 more stores to get past that just to
Right.
get through. Like, otherwise you could operate in a deficit.
Yeah.
So, hey, and you know what? You know how I learned that? From working in fucking retail.
Boom. Yeah. No doubt.
College
You
retail.
learn so much shit. And honest to God, I implore people to work in retail for 2 reasons. One, so you walk out the side of it a better person and you treat people with more respect.
Yep.
And then the second thing is for all the transferable skills that you're going to learn on the job. Because I learned so much about how to like interact with different personality types, how to steer them in the right direction, how to play to, like how to kind of like play the man. And then on the business side of it, like I got to see, I got to see the connections that these companies were making with their vendors and how they negotiate, like how they negotiate like contracts and stuff for, for shipments and all that other. You get to see the growth, the gross profit margins. That's something that like you would learn about in school, but you might not necessarily like not apply when you come out of it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can learn a lot anywhere potentially, but I have always said that everybody should work retail or some kind of service job at least for a year or two.
Yeah.
It should be goddamn near mandatory because you would not behave the same to people after you've done it, and you can tell. If someone has never been there.
Karen.
Yeah.
There would be no Karens.
Yeah,
I think
right.
I think about like, I think it's because I had to strike up conversations with people all the time, and sometimes you just get stonewalled. Having worked in that environment all the time and knowing that I'm walking into some of these places and I'm being sold to, I'm conscious of the fact that I don't want to stone the wall this person. I don't want to be disrespectful.
Right.
So I'll come at him and be like, oh, thanks so much. If I need any help, I'll come let you know.
Yeah.
Or if I see that they're still kind of hounding me and watching me, I'll let them start me a fitting room or whatever it might be. But it's once you've been in it, it changes your perspective as to how to handle those interactions when you wind up walking into those stores. I will say this: working in retail has made me a lazy shopper.
Shopper?
Years of having to merchandise stuff and you look at face outs and jeans on the bottom, shirt on top. This has to be an outfit. All these sections need to be packaged a certain way so that it all flows.
Right.
If I will, I cannot. I can shop in a Winners. I'm not gonna lie, but I cannot go into a store where it's just chaos. If it's not on a face out, I'm not buying it. I'm too lazy.
That's fair. Honestly, I after you say that, I'm like, yeah, I'm like that too.
I've paid.
Honestly.
I have paid my dues in retail. And I respect anyone that's, navigating through it. Or if you want to make it your career, you can make careers in retail and you can make a ton of money.
Oh yeah.
Most likely not, but you can go on to high earning positions within it. So
cool.
But again, definitely it's definitely a humbling profession.
I definitely agree with that strongly.
Yeah, very well put, bud. It's funny you say it makes you a lazy shopper. It makes me a hyper-conscious shopper. Like everything goes back,
Yep.
If I swap something out, you don't leave it on the shelf that you picked it up from. You go put it back where it was. All carts go back. Shit, I pick up other people's carts sometimes just for the fuck of it. It's so easy to do like one extra thing when you're in a store, and then you're like, okay, I'm over my quota. This is better even.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this to toot my horn because I do this if nobody's looking. That's the whole point, right? Mm-hmm. But one time I was putting carts away, so there was one right beside my vehicle, and so I had brought the cart over, and then I'm like, all right, well, I'll take this other one because it's here anyway, right? And then this old lady pushes a cart over. She's like real old. She probably couldn't even see me. She was so blind. And she's like, oh, here you go. And I was like, yeah, I'll take this for you, old lady. And then people just started whipping their carts at me. I'm like, guys, I don't fucking work here.
Yeah, I did a favor.
First of all, the amount of times that you and PC was right next to Future Shop. So, if on the off chance we could take a break at the same time, like we might pop into Winners or pop into Future Shop, we would walk in there and people, like we would be wearing Party Packagers or Party City t-shirts and people would come up to us and start asking us questions like we fucking work there.
Dude, it's your
I swear to God,
air.
it's the way
it's
you
your
carry
air.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because when you're in there and you're like, you're trying to be respectful and like keep shit clean or whatever, people just assume, oh, well, look at this fucking freak.
Right.
He's not demoing the place. He must work here.
No, he's just a fucking, half decent person.
Not a shitbag.
I know that you guys want to wrap it up and stuff, but
I got 9 stories.
I got 95 more stories to tell you.
So.
One of the gentlemen that I used to work with at G Machine, I actually spoke to him recently. He was my old director of operations. Fucking love this guy. And him and he actually is kind of getting into the recruiting world a little bit. He's got a new venture that he's starting up. And so he was just kind of he called me to pick my brain. And so we had a really nice conversation. And he started it off with, tell me something good about you. And it's really kind of changed my changed my outlook on like how I approach like certain conversations, and I've really liked opening with that. After like now that the dust has settled on our entire conversation about retail and stuff, we talked a lot about like shitty things, but like what's a positive takeaway from everything?
Okay.
Like what's something positive that came out of your retail career?
Okay. This is a double-edged positive, but that's about as good as it gets for me.
Okay.
The motivation to never be that desperate again.
Okay.
I realized that, I wasn't at fucking rock bottom, but I was kind of at rock bottom for my own capacity.
Like,
Right.
Then I don't mean like spirituality. I just mean your person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing is relative anyway. So for me, I was just like, those were the worst fucking years of my life, and I resolved to never live like that again. So that it's kind of given me that determination. I'd like to say that, all the fixes on my people skills and everything, and those are real. What I learned about leadership, that's real too. But I've also learned a lot of that from books and just existing as a human. You grow up and you mature. I was fucking 20 when I got my first management job. So I don't think that was it. I think it was really just that kind of fucking stamp on the map of fresh saying don't ever come back here again.
You've passed this level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been good because I've thought about it and I've been like, part of the reason I stayed there so long was because I discredited myself, and I was like, well, fuck that. I did that well, and I've done everything I've ever done well, and it's doable. So
and it comes down to self-awareness. You need to know like your personality type. Is this environment good for my personality? Is this good for my being?
Yeah.
How about you, Slick? I know it was limited, but like you still.
Well,
You've
I
dealt
mean,
with
like
some
I've
shit.
done service jobs.
Yeah.
I've interacted with people. Probably like my observational skills with how people are. So like I can already tell if you're pissed before you even talk to me. So I already know how to gauge to talk to you.
All right.
You know what I mean? So I like, because unless I'm like really committed into a conversation while I'm at work with something or with somebody I and a topic I actually care about, I'm just gonna like look at you and do the best I possibly can to observe how you're acting with body movement, your eyes, what everything's saying to me, and that's kind of like, okay, I got to be really nice to this person, or like go out of my way for this
Sure.
person, or leave this person the fuck alone.
Absolutely.
Or like wave to this person. When you're like walking and you can clearly see this person does not want to, head nod, but this guy, he wants to say what up. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
Right. So
That's good. That's good.
those kinds of skills, and I guess talking as well, like when you're forced into conversation, because I fucking hate talking to people. So. But when I'm at work, like I can separate like my personal anxiety from my work anxiety, and it's kind of nice.
I haven't mastered that yet.
Yeah, it just happened. It just happened.
VIP, get in on this. What was the best takeaway
Run
from
it.
retail for you?
I would have to say, like managing the customer.
What does that mean?
Like
And
driving
I
the-
guess why was it the best takeaway?
Well, I would say like driving the bus in the conversation. I wouldn't let them be able to. Almost like con me into like what they want. I'd be able to like steer the direction of the conversation, understand social cues that might be missed by others. But yeah, I guess like talking to people, communicating. There are pluses in a world of negatives in the retail.
Yeah, it certainly thickens your skin
But
too.
I will say that
Oh yeah.
we still deal with it. I mean, there's other things that we're doing. I have to still talk to customers.
Of course.
I don't work in a retail store, but I'm still selling a product, and all those skills that I learned through communication and steering the conversation, I still have to apply that today. So I have to say, thank God for my 8 years in retail.
All right.
Fair.
Holy fuck.
Fair enough.
What about you,
Daddy?
Lindsay?
I said it earlier. Like it literally made me who I am. I was a recluse. I didn't want anything to do with the world, but now I just want to be as a part of it as possible. I want to help people. I want people to feel good. I want people to feel comfortable in the environment that they may be uncomfortable.
They just got to be happy with themselves.
Oh, you know what? Making people happy with themselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Chucky, what about you, man?
I stand by what I said. It was impactful. If I could do it all over again, I'd probably do it. I'd do it all over again. I'd probably do it the same.
No,
I would.
No, not a fucking chance.
I would.
No, because then you didn't learn.
No,
No. I would tweak things. Like I said, if I knew then what I know now, I would apply what I know now then, and I would have been a better manager then.
And you go back to high school.
There you go.
But no, I honestly, in the grand scheme of things, I probably wouldn't change it for the world because it set me on the path that I am, and I'm not where I want to be, but I'm where I think I need to be right now to kind of feel this hunger, figure myself out, so I can kind of continue growing. But when I look at everything that I got out of retail, like the people that are sitting around this table right now,
Yeah, that's fair.
Like all of my friends and all of my my closest friends are all people that I've worked with over the years, and to break bread with them at Christmas, and be invited to stand in their weddings multiple times, get invited to those weddings, to see them kind of like start family, like that stuff that I never would have got had I not applied to work at Guess. We've been friends for like almost 11 years now, or known each other for 11 years, probably friends for 10 of them, 9, 10.
You really want that
Debatable.
10, don't
I
you?
want that 10. I want
Give him the 10.
I
man.
want it. But no, I wouldn't change it for the world. It was very impactful, and it's made me who I am. So I agree with Mickey on that.
Nice.
Damn, I really didn't expect that.
Don't get me wrong. I ate a lot of shit on the way, but there's
Probably
there's-
just tons.
There's shit that you can find in every profession, every workplace environment. But what I will say, I've worked for the big guy, I've worked for the small guy, and I would much rather prefer to work for the. I'd much rather prefer to work for the small guy because when I worked at G Machine, we had to log in every single day every time we would process a sale. When I worked at Guess, my employee number was 9118. When I wound up going over to G Machine, I made my password 9118. Oh, what was it? 91180527, and that was my original employee number and my new employee number put together. So that way, it was like a subconscious reminder never to be treated as a number again.
Oh.
And I left
Fair.
that company to go and work for a big company where I felt like a number again. And now that I'm back working for like a more mid-sized company and I see the workplace culture and all the positive aspects, don't get me wrong, there's stuff in every single work environment. It's capitalism. We're not if I have the option between working 40 hours a week and, sipping a Mai Tai on a beach somewhere for 40 hours a week, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So-
Obviously.
But at the end of the day, it's definitely eye-opening.
Would you say that you're happy with yourself?
I am happier today than I was a year ago.
Oh, and that's what it's all about, baby.
It comes down to baby steps, and as long as you're moving the needle in the right direction, a baby step is still a step in the right direction. Again, not where I want to be, but closer than I was yesterday or a year ago. I think anyway.
That's about as perfect an ending as I can think of. So, be nice to retail workers. Don't be a Karen.
Oh, it beat me to it.
They did not write the refund policy, so don't harp on that bullshit.
And stay away from saying stupid shit like, "Oh, it didn't scan, must be free."
Please.
Are you hardly working or working hard or whatever the fuck? Like, we don't want to hear any of that stuff.
Yeah. Don't make bad jokes. Make dad jokes.